Okay. Okay, we're up here. We're just chilling out for a second while I get this set up. What's up? What's up? Do I have a... Wait while everybody comes through. Let me share this thing. What's up? What's up? We're just getting set up right now. Just getting everything good. You know? Yo. Alright. Getting everybody announced. Come on in, come on in. Let me know if it sounds okay, if we're good to go. And then we'll just start up. Let's go. Looks good. Just waiting for more people in here. What's up, y'all? At least the Dow is at 50K. I'm very happy that the Dow is at 50K, even though things are getting, busted on the street and the world is in, absolute chaos. We're in the last days. No, we're not. Stop. We are in the last days. We're not in the last days. All right. Let's chill on that. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. What's up, y'all? How are we doing? We doing good? We all chilling? Cool. 49 viewers. We're starting up. All right. So, been a little bit of a crazy day. It's Ramadan, so I was fasting today. I was gonna record. I recorded like a little bit of like the episode yesterday, and then midway through, I'm just like, dude, like I have to go to sleep soon. The news this week has been kind of weird. It's very culture war heavy. And like the tariffs are kind of like a thing and not a thing, and I thought it'd be better for me to kind of like do a live stream and explain, and also take a rest from the freestyle this week so we can all chill out. And then I can actually fast a little bit. So I broke my fast. Hey, here's the Red Bull. No sponsorship, even though they should. And we're gonna jump around and see some stuff. So the first thing I wanted to do. Also, let me know if the music's too loud or whatever. But first things first, what's up? Hi. My cat is screaming into the... My cat's... If you want to see... Hey. Hey, say hi. What are you doing? Yeah, he's just avoiding. He's avoiding eye contact with everything that exists right now. Oh, shit. Did stuff fall? It probably did fall. Goddamn. Alright. Okay. Let's move to my fucking... Oh, Jesus. Alright. Let's move back to my main video. But let's go through some of the stuff that's going on right now. Okay. First things first. Going to Google News. I want to talk about... No, don't get off. You stay here. You stay here. Okay? First thing I want to talk about is this. This is kind of nuts. I came home to this, randomly. Oh, thank you, New York Times, for, like, paywalling everything that exists. Elemental. So apparently what's happened is the United States, or not the United States, but the Mexican government, took out and ended up killing El Mencho, one of the top cartel leaders in Mexico. And because of that, a lot of crazy shit has been happening in the fallout since the guy got hit. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm sure we read a little bit of this article. U.S. citizens are being urged to shelter in place amidst unrest in Puerto Vallarta, one of Mexico's most popular tourist destinations. Flights in and out of the airport are also being canceled, delayed, or diverted Sunday. The U.S. Embassy in Mexico issued a security alert to American citizens Sunday to shelter in place until further notice. They are currently in Jalisco State, which includes Puerto Vallarta, Chapala, Guadalajara, Baja California State. By the way, in Guadalajara, I just saw a TikTok of a beauty influencer in the Guadalajara airport saying that people are like firing, like there are cartel people like firing at the Guadalajara airport. They've set supermarkets ablaze. If you don't know about the history of Mexico and the cartel, whenever there's stuff like this that happens, the cartels like kind of openly declare war on the Mexican government. There's just fights back and forth. They apparently killed a few cartel members and captured the leader initially, but he was injured and he died on the way to wherever transit was, and that's what's, you know, set off the amount of violence that there is there. You know, hold on, sorry, my thing is just on a weird. Oh, god damn it! I have cards all on the end of my desk and they keep falling every 5 seconds. But that's where we're at right now. Tell your cat I said pss, 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 pss. Hey. Pss, 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 pss. He's just chilling. He just wants me to pet him. All U.S. government staff at the Consulate General Tijuana and all the U.S. government staff in Guerrero, Michoacan, I think is what it's called, or Quintana Roo states have been directed to shelter in place. Videos posted to social media and by local journalists show black smoke from car fires in the area, and there are reports of burning vehicles blocking roadways in Jalisco. The unrest is reportedly linked to a military operation targeting a powerful drug lord, El Mencho, like I said. He was killed in the operation. Osguera Cervantes was wounded in an operation to capture him Sunday in Tapalpa. Jalisco is a 2-hour drive southwest of Guadalajara, and he died while being flown into Mexico City, the Defense Department said in a statement. Killing of a powerful drug lord sets off several hours of roadblocks with burning vehicles in Jalisco and other states. Such tactics are commonly used by cartels to block military operations. Also, they apparently killed him with U.S. intelligence. The U.S. shared intelligence and they took him out. And then on top of that, right, it's a weird thing because Trump has been kind of hammering at Mexico to like, hey, just clap your hands and do away with the cartels or whatever, right? But it's obviously a very tense situation because stuff like this happens, you know? There's moths in my room. Definitely a freaking insane moment right now. I'm gonna try to find the TikTok where everything is going to the Ninja Turtles pre-release event. I'm not going to the Ninja Turtles pre-release event. I'm sorry. I play One Piece. I got. This is weird to talk about this when we're in the middle of such a serious discussion, but I got this. If you don't know what this is the One Piece heroine set. It's my second box. I already got we pulled an SP from one of them. We had a 4-hit box, which is kind of crazy. Okay, let's go to TikTok. I think it's in my history on TikTok. More. How do you go to history in TikTok? I'm trying to find if there's like a way to go to watch history. Or maybe I have to do it from my phone. But there was a TikTok I saw from Guadalajara where Guadalajara. Yeah, there we go. Guadalajara Airport. Yeah. You know. Yeah. This is the video I saw. Let me pause Spotify for a second. Can you hear, by the way? The Google. Sorry.
This is the Guadalajara Airport. Beauty Bird, an influencer who's known for her Get Ready With Me videos on both TikTok and Instagram, has posted this to her story of people terrified after the cartel
That's
leader,
fucking
El
horrifying,
Mencho,
dude.
was killed. The cartel has...
Yeah, man. Like, that's absolutely terrifying. You know? Especially with how things are going in Mexico. That's really tough. And like, you know the history of the cartel. They don't care, man. It's not a good situation to be in. I hope she's okay. Beauty Bird. The bird. Beauty Bird. Let's see. Is she okay? I hope she is. She posted those. For us to get to safety, please God protect us all. Okay, she's okay. She's okay. Thank God. All right. Made it out safe. Guadalajara and Jalisco, thank you for staff flight attendants. Pray for Mexico. Yeah, I mean, like, this seems like it's gonna set off a lot of issues. And I mean, this is like the kind of thing, like, you know, like, it's like I said, whenever I compare like now to 2005, it's what the U.S. is seen as. You remember that movie Team America: World Police, that the guys who made South Park made? Like, it was just the fact that America sneezes and everything just blows the fuck up, right? And stuff like this is the problem, because Trump is so erratic. You know, some of this like obviously, you know, like, he's not the one who, but like the intelligence they had, the pressure he's done to try to, like, you know, take more aggressive stance against the cartels. I'm not at all saying the cartels are a good thing in Mexico. It's fucking horrible. But you know, the pressure on everybody in the world to just kind of like acquiesce to this man baby has made, you know, shit like this way worse. And I don't think he's gonna, like, there's no reality where, oh, well, they killed the cartel leader. Well, that's great, and he's gonna just try to keep on the pressure for Mexico because he has an incentive to be a fucking asshole about it. You know, everyone in Mexico can get the help they need. This will last for weeks. It'll last, yeah, but maybe months. You know, imagine it creates a power vacuum in the cartel world. Probably, you know, it's weird, man. Like, if you know anything about like the way the mob and the cartel and all of these like organized crime groups operate these days, because of it's weird, because in media we see them like being like super like just out in the open and ruthless, and the cartel is like that. But like specifically the mafia nowadays, like if you ever looked into like the mafia itself, they operate way differently. You know, they're not like, it's not like the Goodfellas, Lufthansa. Even that was like kind of secretive, but like they're more in like credit card scams and like, you know, underground scams of shit, because, you know, everything is so public nowadays. I think there was like a hit a few like months back, but like if you look at how the power of the the power of like the mob has been reduced, you just overall, it's a very different world, you know. Black Rabbit Studios, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you guys. By the way, did I turn this off already? Let me quickly. I'm gonna turn off ads, and hopefully we can just keep this stream like ad free while we chill and talk. Let me see. Edit. Yeah. I'm gonna turn off ads for a little bit, and then if you guys can throw some super chats on, and that'll definitely help, and, you know, it'll make up for whatever ad revenue I would make. But Blackboard Studios, thank you so much for the super chats. My dad is in Mexico and he has to stay there. Now I'm legit nervous if anything happens near his place, but he's just chilling like it's nothing, lol. Dude, I hope your dad is okay, Black Rabbit Studios. Keep in mind also, like, you know, whenever we see things on social media, like, we think they're in the immediate vicinity. Like, even when LA was going through like all of the ICE raids, like, you know, it's not like it wasn't close. It's like a 30-minute drive, you know, but it makes it look like the entirety of LA is blanketed in it. That's not to say ICE is not an issue. Was not an issue in Los Angeles. ICE was an issue in Los Angeles, especially around some of the areas I'm in. But, you know, like, there was a sustained presence in trying to like stop that shit and like trying to get people assistance and all of that. You know, so I hope it's in a very specific place in Mexico. You know, I know how you're feeling. Like I have family in Pakistan. Whenever that shit's going nuts, I worry about them. Hey everybody, Ramadan Mubarak, Dumpster Fire Grace. Hey, Ramadan Mubarak to you, Grace. Had a good fast. Dark mode is your friend and will save your eyes when you're old like me. Dark mode is my friend, but also this is my fill light, so it helps me as well. Okay, but that's what's going on there. I hope everybody's okay. That just broke today too, so I'm like just catching up with all of that as soon as I got home from whatever tournament I was at. But anyway, I also wanted to talk a little bit about apparently there was a Gavin Newsom interview, and there was another like little like debate. I talked a little bit last week about Hassan and that whole third party thing. Apparently there was a debate between him and a guy from Midas Touch that I thought was like actually a pretty good debate. It's tough because like when you watch the debate, most of the time he's trying to go back to like the initial comments that Hassan made, and I feel like I'll just pull it up. Hassan. I don't know why I'm getting recommended Louis C.K. shit. Why am I getting recommended 2 Louis C.K. things? What the fuck? It's not 2010. Hassan Piker debates, or what's his name? This guy.
So you're running Newsom's campaign. How do you model the immigration platforms?
What's his name? It's Mockler or something like that. Hassan debate. Not Charlie Kirk, but like Adam. Is it Adam? Yeah, Adam Mockler from Midas Touch. I saw it on this thing. I think it's like a non-Hassan channel.
More and stuff, but
what do you mean it's out of your hands? I think we're all united in one goal of beating him at the end of the day. And I'm not here to shame anybody.
Okay, let me tell you. Let me set this up just so you know that it's not like a just a culture war bullshit thing. Okay, and why I'm talking about this specifically. So like in general, if you haven't heard why, like I've explained it before on the show, like a lot of my like perspective on stuff is just trying to like, I feel like I try to structure the show around being kind of like the Daily Show, right? Like decoupling the noise. Daily Show was trying to fight the 24-hour news cycle. I'm trying to fight the social media news cycle a little bit. And a lot of things that happen, especially when I harken back to mid 2000s and everything, is that this infighting isn't new, but it usually happens in very anxious moments. Because everybody's really worried about the threat of fascism and authoritarianism and everything like that. There was that threat when Bush was around. People act like it's so much worse now. It is worse, but like it is kind of the same. It's very, in my opinion, it feels the same. Same danger, same threat. People, like a lot of the stuff has been going on for a while. My worry, and institutions have eroded a little bit more this time, but like essentially it's the same unitary executive theory. So something that's very, very frustrating to me is that a lot of times in politics, there's a lot of there's a very specific way in activism and politics. Politics is very much so about the optics, keeping everything clean and above board, and activism is like break everything to make sure there's progress that happens, right? And the thing with optics is it's important because you need to bring more people on your side, but activism is also important because you need shit to actually happen without, just like giving it lip service. So something I talked about in the week before was when Hassan did his interview, what ended up happening was I thought that he made a very good point that like why are you swearing fealty to a candidate who's not even elected, right? That's ridiculous. And like people dogpiling on him were just dogpiling because Hassan is seen as this like political like metaphor, and if you kill that metaphor, then hopefully that you get a clean slate and you can just point back to this like problem that he had and then just bring that up every time somebody has a similar opinion. It's a very specific political tactic, and I think that's bullshit, and I pushed back against it, and I thought there were good points. The other side of that though is I think that optics do somewhat matter, and acting like they don't is stupid. And in activism, it's a really important, like it's a really like useful tool a lot of times when you say something really inflammatory, and then when it comes back to you, you give an explanation to what you actually meant. This was used by the civil rights movement a ton, used by the Nation of Islam a ton, used by so many activist movements. Defund the police is probably the one, right? Defund the police at the time when it came out just sounded shocking because it sounds like don't like destroy the police, right? Because abolish the police is abolish the police, but defund sounded like that. But the point of defund the police was for you to start an argument about it and then learn what the actual like funding mechanisms of the police were. That's the reason it was phrased like that. That's a very common activist like tactic, and it's good. It's a useful tactic because it brings about a lot of important change in places where a lot of times really annoying political actors will try to clean everything up and shut it down, right? Like genocide, like all the stuff. A lot of stuff for Palestine has done that, like explicitly, right? Like when they go after certain celebrities and stuff like that, that's meant to try to get to like Trump administration uses it too, right? To get in front of a lot of people, to get your activist point out there, and hopefully it catches on with some people or they look deeper into it, okay? So that's kind of the debate that's been going on, right? Like, even though it's framed as this, like, well, you were for third party or no, right? It's mainly an ideological debate about optics versus, like, earnestness. And that ties into, like, Gavin Newsom being this, like, this electable candidate versus a more left-leaning or socialist candidate who wants more radical change, but doesn't look as good on paper to middle America. That's kind of what the debate is, and I thought the way they approached it was really good. I also think if you look at this comment section, they did not get it. It's essentially just a bunch of, like, it's not only just Hassan's audience, it's everybody, right? Like, a lot of liberals essentially go if who watch this interview feel like, oh, Hassan just gave away the store and said the quiet part out loud. And a lot of leftists focusing on, like, he just doesn't get it, and leftists have to teach. Adam Mockler just doesn't get it, and leftists have to teach him. There was a lot more respect between these two than I think is letting on, and I think it's important to, even if I only have 164 people in here, to go through this and look at some points that are being made by each of these people. Not trying to, like, bridge, like, kumbaya peace between leftists and liberals, but to actually have the argument that we should be having is, like, how much does optics and the way we present ourselves matter, as well as what places are we just kind of paying lip service to, and where do we need actual radical change instead of just these, like, oh, we're fighting, we're the resistance kind of thing, right? I think those are both two really important debates that need to be had, and also whether Gavin Newsom is a fuckboy or not. So let's just go through this. Y'all with me? Y'all doing good? We got 2 super chats before we start. Dusty Dark Horse, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I'm very, very appreciative. I don't know IDKW, but I have this tingling sensation that this is all going to get worse as the pressure on Trump gets worse. It's going to get worse. Like, listen, like, if you're dialed into the news system, it's going to get worse, right? If you're dialed into the 24-hour news cycle, it's always going to feel worse, right? Like, and so you have to have, that's what I'm saying, is, like, a big part of this is that when you're so engaged on one subject and that subject goes south, you feel like the world is ending, I think I'll give you an example, right? And this is going to be very nerdy, but I'm going to give you an example that's probably going to help you. So you see this, right? Like, I'm into card games and shit like that. So if you don't know what happened over the last month, and I've recorded a story about it 3 times and I haven't gotten to put it up, but a lot of scalpers, the scalping market's gone nuts. And that's important because a lot of the crypto, pro AI, all those people, they fucking love scalping, right? They are on that whole, like business, like, oh, I'm going to corner the market kind of bullshit on scalping and flipping. And so Poke Bros are probably the best shorthand you may know. So they made a run at One Piece, and they immediately cornered the market and shot prices up hundreds and hundreds of dollars, right? One Piece box goes for $130 retail, right? They're usually a little bit more because, product's hard to come by in general, but it's a very affordable game. That's why I got into it, and I like One Piece. This box retails for $530 at, like, that's the market value of it. It retails for $130, but it's at $530 in terms of, like, sale price, right? Because they fucking cornered the market. It got so bad that they in transit stole from a truck. What does this have to do with politics? Well, everybody who I know who's, like, super involved in card games and not really engaged in politics and everything like that, they're a little bit more engaged because one of our friends his father was taken by ICE, but that's another story. Like, all of them that's, like, a lot of their, like, hobby and their time, immediately were, like, just the same doomerist kind of principles I see when people follow and engage with politics. Exact same. It's over. It's so fucked. What can I even do? I'm gonna have to pay $1,000 per car. It's so fucking dumb. I can't. It's like everybody real is gone. People are just like, it's literally jumping steps to feel worse, right? Even people on our podcast feel that way. So, like, I was saying, just chill out. There will be reprints. Just wait it out, right? It's an active fight. you have to boycott and everything like that. And here's the thing. One Piece community did boycott. The prices for the 2 sets that they've bought out so far have crashed. This set just came out. It's not crashing yet, but like the prices have been fluctuating and slowly crashing. And the company announced that there was going to be reprints in 2 months. Now that's going to take time. But what I'm trying to tell you is that anytime you're so enormously focused on one aspect, and of course politics affects more of the world than fucking card games do, but anytime you're so focused on one specific place or demographic or idea, right, or topic, like if you're so engaged in there where it's your life stream, it's gonna fuck with you. And politicians and political people count on that. There are points where you really do have to pay attention. Like, obviously, Trump is doing a lot of shit that you have to pay attention to, that more people should pay attention to. But over the last 3 or 4 months, everybody's not paying attention. And now, because of that, every single move they make, like I said, is also a pressure tactic. Okay? Like, it's also a pressure tactic meant to fucking intimidate you. That doesn't mean it's nothing. But you have to take that into account and adjust accordingly. There are some things that they publicize that aren't that big of a deal. There are some things that you don't hear about that are fucking enormous deals, that are enormously fucked up, right? You know? We'll go over some of those. There was also a DNC report that was scuttled, that information's come out about that, you know? So we need to have conversations about that and not like overthink when it's a liar, dude. A liar is always going to tell you he has the best hand. Okay? That doesn't mean he's harmless, you know? But it doesn't mean you should just believe him and give over all of your and just quit. Okay? That's kind of what I try to tell people and throw the board away. Gotten so many more super chats. Thank you so much, Dusty, for that. Don't worry. McKenna Kelly 4413. Thank you for being such a great news source. Thank you so much, McKenna. I'm a commentary source, but I hope I bring some news to it as well. I appreciate you. Impact Prod Florida. Thank you so much. 199 a super chat. I appreciate you, man. That means a ton. Thank you for supporting the show. What is this? Is it a picture? I can't even see it. Hold on. Let me see this real quickly. Can I bring this up? No, I can't. If it is something, please let me know, Impact, so I can like probably like bring it up in the channel. I apologize. I'm new to how super chats work a little bit. Ashi Nodi, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I like going to Little Caesars just to ask them how many hot and readies do they have. Ready already. Yeah. I feel that, bro. I need to get a fucking we have a Little Caesars next to my place. I haven't gone there yet. Okay, let's actually get into this interview, and I just not like cock tease you the whole fucking time. Cool. If you liking the stream, let me know. If you need me to do better, I will. Another super chat very quickly. Let's take care of this. Dead Allen Gaming 1999. Did you see the Dem autopsy leak? What are your thoughts? Also, on a little personal note, I'm working on 2 local state house campaigns. I got inspired to get involved because of you and other lefty creators. Thank you for all you do. Oh, dude, thank you so much, Dead Alien Gaming. That means so fucking much that you got inspired to engage. Like, you're exactly the kind of person I want to talk to. You're exactly the kind of person I want. And like, that makes me feel really, really great, man. Thank you so much, and thank you for the super chat. Like, but you just engaging means like a ton, man. That's incredible. And yes, I am gonna go over the Dem autopsy leak. We're gonna go over that. And we're gonna talk about it. But first, let's go a little bit into this debate so we can actually get some stuff out of it instead of me yapping all the time over. Instead of the Timu Hassan that I am yapping all the time.
For voting one way or not voting one way. I honestly don't even think you guys all have to line up behind Gavin Newsom 2 years before the primary. We're 2 years out ahead of the primary. We have an exciting ideological battle coming up. So I'm not asking you to like jump up and down for Gavin Newsom. However, I do want to talk about your response to Jennifer Welch on that podcast, because I do have some thoughts, and I think I can bring a pretty good faith version of what a lot of people on Twitter are trying to say, but kind of getting muddled in. But yeah, we're going to agree on a lot regarding criticism of the Democratic Party, probably where the Democratic Party needs to go. We'll agree a lot. I'm very disillusioned with the Democratic Party as well. But I think there's some good faith criticisms of the way that you approach that question or the way that you talk about this. But
Yeah, if you want to know what my positions are, and I think you're already pretty familiar with my positions. I know that like you've probably heard me speak on these issues for years and years at this point. But my primary goal, especially in the interim, especially in the short term, is the defeat of fascism. I believe that the Republican Party is an illiberal party, a post.
Why do you have to censor fascism?
I think unlike the historic inception of fascism as a revolutionary movement at a time when liberalism was failing only 100 years ago, this time that we have two liberal parties in America. Like as a political theory, we have two liberal parties, right?
I don't know if the person who's clipping Hassan's things are going to watch. Fascism is not a bad word on YouTube. You can call it out and make fun of it. I would know. That never kills my algorithm. When I post at the same time Phil does, it kills my algorithm. So that's yeah.
Right, like we say conservative, whatever, but like technically the Republicans are also a liberal party.
Yep.
And now the Republican,
well, not MAGA.
Yeah, the Republican Party is historically a liberal party, but is now turning away from liberalism and becoming an illiberal party, a post-liberal party, and turning into a fascist party. I warned about this the first Trump election as well. I warned about the proto-fascist nature of Donald Trump.
Phil is dope. I'm joking.
I thought distinction. I didn't say that Trump, like season 1 of Donald Trump was fully fascist, but
yeah,
season 2 of Donald Trump is. And I think it's important to make that distinction as well, because like you can see the difference, right? Like there was a lot of naked corruption, a lot of things that were going on in the first Trump administration, but the second Trump administration has been so brazen, so obvious, and it's not like they've hidden that reality at all, especially when they were running to become the president, when they were running through the in the 2024 election season. So my primary goal is to defeat that completely. Yeah. And obviously, I also want to build socialism. I want to build a working class movement. And I don't think these two goals are at odds with one another. I think both historically and also in general, I believe that the evolution away from the liberal system that we exist under that is now failing for the second time.
Who is the editor on this? Because they're not.
And the only solution out of that is to build a working class based organized socialist movement. But yeah, those are my two main points. I
mean, I guess I want to ask you, do you think it would be meaningfully easier to build this working class socialist based movement in a liberal society or an illiberal society?
Oh, historically speaking, most likely an illiberal society. At least historically speaking, socialist and communist movements have unfortunately only been successful when material conditions have worsened. I don't want that to happen though, because I don't want to live through that, and I don't think that is like an appropriate thing to move towards. I don't think that that's good for people. I think it's very violent and very deadly. I don't want the material conditions to deteriorate. But if you're asking me, like honestly, from a historical perspective, no,
I'm basically asking.
But that's see, here's the thing. But that's kind of my point, right? Is like, yes, 100% that is true in how that's happened, right? But like, and like what he's making a good point, right? But the problem is that the way that's delivered, right? Again, to people who are not in that pundit sphere, that's like, oh, so you're supporting illiberalism coming into power. So like, even though he says material, like he says the mitigating part right afterwards, right? But that's what I'm trying to say is like, this is you'll see what I mean.
I'm basically just asking if we get to a 2028 and like, I guess we can get into the hypothetical of Newsom versus Vance, but it's not even about that. They're kind of just stand-ins. I don't even want to concede who our nominee is going to be 2 years ahead, but I think there would be a meaningful difference in building a pro-labor movement under a JD Vance presidency, which would be much, much harder, versus a Gavin Newsom presidency. I mean, JD Vance's entire career has been trying to step on top of workers. He wants to.
I agree.
He endorsed Project He endorsed Project 2025, which literally wants to bring child labor laws back to 1938. He's fundamentally illiberal
So a
and
little bit
doesn't
of
want
a
to let you organize. I mean,
talking
like, a
point
lack of organization
swarm,
is
but it
part
is what it is.
of not living in a liberal society, right? They will squash that. They will communists. They will socialists. That's what they did in other.
Can we get to I'm changing the video I'm watching. What is with this wild, like, random censorship of, like, what is the point of that? Combo on the necessary combo.
At the moment.
We care about
Oh,
all.
it's someone else fucking commenting. God damn, bro. Can I just get the? What do you? My cat is batting at my, like, back scratcher because I always like try to like pet it. We'll watch that. It's fine. I'm just really annoyed at the
and stuff, but like I'm talking about, like, is always around to listen to the warning signs.
Listen, communists. Meanwhile, Gavin Newsom, however insufficient you may think he is, and this is not an endorsement of Gavin Newsom, I'm just trying to illustrate my points of, you know, the different realities we could enter. However insufficient you think Gavin Newsom is, he would allow for a really strong labor movement. He would allow for you guys to at least, you know, organize, and he would probably communicate with you guys.
First of all, I don't even think you guys. I think you're a part of this as well. You're not against, like, organizing a labor movement, right? But
No, I'm not
also,
against that.
Yeah, everybody's
also,
on the same
can
side.
you
of
crank
this.
up your volume a little bit on your end? Because I maxed it out, but people still are having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah,
Well,
my
they still
bad.
listen.
A lot of-
But do you see what I'm saying? Like, they have the same.
as
They
far as,
both
like,
believe the
what's
same
better
point
for
there, right? It's just about the optics of it.
It's not even a necessary part of this discussion because I know that
it is.
No, the reason why I'm saying it's not a necessary part of this discussion is because given the option between Gavin Newsom and JD Vance, I'm not saying that Gavin Newsom is going to be a situation than JD Vance. I understand and agree with, in theory, the harm reduction narratives. My argument is always around doing away with harm reduction narratives because the harm reduction narrative has led to two spectacular failures thus far, both in 2016 and also in 2020. And as far as, like, playing hardball with Democrats who don't want to listen, who still want to hold on and maintain this like harm reduction narrative, who still say that they want to appeal to this, like, mythical moderate voter who's outside of who isn't a normal Democratic Party voter, like these guys that they want to turn to the Democratic Party. I'm willing to play hardball with them and say, like, look, I'll hold my vote back. But the reality of the matter is, if you're asking me sincerely, like, do you think that Gavin Newsom is going to be better than JD Vance? Of course. I mean, this is not something just like Kamala Harris is objectively going to be better than Donald Trump. The miscommunication around this comes in large part due to me openly saying, like, it's out of my hands at that point, because that was the second part that I mentioned.
But that's
It's
okay. So that's the store, right? That's the whole thing. That's the debate solved. That should be like in any normal thing, that should be the debate is solved. Okay? Look, he said the thing, right? Also, never voted for third party. He's consistently voted for, one of the and his community has never really, like, fully gone there. They've voted for the lesser of two evils constantly. Like, there it is, right? But also, for some reason, continued, like, on these parallel lines of, like, well, no, the reason I was misunderstood was because I said it's out of my hands. Partially, yeah, but it was misunderstood because you said third party and Gavin Newsom, JD Vance. That was why it was misunderstood. Okay, and, like, it's a consistent issue. I don't think Mockler is, like, and Mockler's gonna keep on going back to fucking let me just cue it up to where he's, like, talking real quick, but he keeps on going back to the Jennifer Welsh comments, right? He keeps on doing it, and I think it's just because he wants to nail Hassan on, like, well, you should have said this, but also they end up having two different conversations. One conversation being that, like, hey, this is what I believe. Hassan is saying this is what I believe is the better way to go about this and do this. And Mockler is like, well, why the fuck did you say this? Right? and I'm gonna be very honest. I think they're both very important conversations because both people are not acknowledging like the way you say something in politics does fucking matter. It's like the only thing that fucking matters, you know, with the apparatus and the marketing around it, right? Like it's the way you make things sink through. It's so important. But also there is substance and a point that he is making that about problems that have come from this current system that have to be rectified and that are not being listened to. And it's interesting, at a certain point they just start talking past each other, and the comment section here does as well. So a lot of things I tell you guys, especially when you're listening, the reason I bring up, again, I'm not an enormous fan of Hassan. I follow him and a bunch of other people just because I want to see they're driving the debate. I don't like fucking Tucker Carlson or Tim Pool either, but I have, when they do shit, I try to look at it so I can report on it, right? This is a fucking, when people like this talk, right? Like, you can take, Hassan's a pundit. You can take things that he says that are really important and great points, but you can't take everything as gospel because there are blind spots. Like here, like I have blind spots too, you know?
I think that now is our time to use the leverage we have, and I think that's what you're trying to do during the Jennifer Welch podcast. And like, I want to keep returning to that conversation that you had, because you said in the conversation at that point it doesn't even matter, but you at this point mean it was out of your hands, right?
Yeah.
Can you clarify, what do you mean it was out of your hands?
So
just
and I also talked about like my refusal to endorse Kamala Harris as well, and we can get into that too. What I mean by that is,
Eli Sorelli, they have the same thoughts on pretty much all of these points. It truly just comes down to optics, which I do agree with Adam on the optics. Hassan leans into hyperbole, rage bait too frequently. He does. But again, like that's also there is some culpability for Mockler, because like, okay, listen, like if you only think rage bait is for like hyperbolic like leftists and like right wing types, liberals do it all the fucking time. Okay, like Lindy Lee, before she became, you know, the MAGA grifter that she is, was a liberal grifter, and she openly said, and I showed it on the show, I will not vote for Bernie Sanders if he becomes the nominee. This is when Bernie was leading, right? And she said, I will not vote for Bernie Sanders if he becomes the nominee. And she openly did this, like, to say, like, I'm very scared. I feel like everything's going to go on. Like, a couple years before, she just went, I'm going to be a full conservative influencer and hate woke things and all that bullshit because she's a fucking liar, right? So, like, there are people who say, and then she said, like people like James Carville saying, like, oh, Moscow loves it when Bernie Sanders he's going to turn us into a socialist. Like, they do that all the fucking time. That happens all the time. But, like, it's not a specific side. It's just politics. It's political people. You will find a moderate, a casual, and a hardcore version of every single political stripe. And so I really encourage you to be very careful about like thinking, oh, well, Hassan is only the one who's hyperbolic. Mockler can be hyperbolic as well. He can also be very talking pointy, in which he's being here. There's definitely a bunch of talking points he's kind of shot off.
Is exactly what I said in the 2024 election, where it was like, you can't, as a singular individual, or even with like the entire might of the media behind you, outflank the actual campaign. So if Gavin Newsom is running as the Gavin Newsom that we know so far,
Zaid Tabani 2028, you're gonna run? Who the fuck is gonna bankroll me? I would only go for like an office if it was for service, out of service. I just want to help people, so I don't really. That sounds really fucking like, oh, I'm so good. No, I don't know. People have asked, but I'm not enormous or whatever enough to do that. If I could help, I would help in any way I can. But
you know, he'll say certain things like, "Oh, I refuse to take money from AIPAC." Great, but then when push comes to shove, like he will still be inconsistent on the issue of Israel. He won't like fully subscribe to you know, punishing Israeli leadership, or fully subscribe to like refusing any sort of arms sales to Israel. And outside of Israel, of course, you know, beholden to corporate interest when it comes to like the real estate lobby, anti-Medicare for all. If he runs as that, okay, there's no amount of advocacy that I can engage in that will make him look better. I can consistently talk
a good
about
point.
how much worse the Republican
That's
side
not
is
what you were
going to
asked.
be.
You were asked if you would vote for him. And I'm not even saying you should have said yes in that moment, but you were asked, would you vote for him? And you said at that point, it doesn't even matter. Here's what I'm getting at here.
Yeah.
I think there was a very solid answer you could have given that didn't outrage the liberals online as much. And I know that a lot of people flung a lot of shit at you on
Which is
Twitter.
my
That's
point.
always what happens. But
Yeah.
I think there was an answer where you could have been like, listen, I refuse to pre-commit to any candidate 2 years ahead of a primary. They have to earn my votes, and that's what I want to see. And I totally get you're on stream like 8 hours a day. You're not always going to say everything perfectly. But here's where a lot of liberals online are mad, and here's where we're all kind of talking past each other.
Freestyle
I
the
see
State
a
of the
lot
Union,
of people
yeah, I will.
online saying, all liberals want us to line up behind Gavin Newsom 2 years before a primary. And that's not even the argument that any of us are making. I think where a lot of liberals have problems with the way you speak about the Democratic Party is that you try to minimize the gap.
Is there an
between
answer that
the
people won't be
Democratic and
mad at, though?
Republican Party.
Yeah, the answer is I'm not going to pre-commit to a candidate that is not. I mean, people will be mad at that, but they're easy. It's easier to like. You're not trying to get like. There's some people are going to be mad at anything all the time, right? Like there's shit on my channel where like I will literally say, like, I'm not even fucking kidding. Like there's points where I would say like. Donald Trump is doing really shitty things, and you're saying like you're defending Donald Trump. Like I'll get those kind of comments. People who literally don't listen but just project their viewpoint onto whatever you said, and that will always fucking happen. It will always happen. So the best thing you can do is speak in a way that gives you recourse, like because the whole thing is everybody's trying to hijack the median, the casual. Because or the moderate, that's who they're trying to sway. They're not trying to sway. You're never gonna sway somebody who's like MAGA, hardcore, got Trump tatted on their left, chest boob. Like you're not gonna get them to be like, you know what? I think these Epstein files, Donald Trump being in them is kind of fucked up. Like very rarely you get people like that. You'll get people who are like on the like some people up to a certain level who will turn, right? But there are always going to be hardcore people who will never turn. What you have to understand is you have to speak in a way that leaves breadcrumbs for if somebody misunderstood it, they can find the context, because they always will, because of the internet. People will always like over search on something. But you also have to do it in a certain way where it conveys your message to some degree where people understand it. Politicians are always vague because they want to be able to have like that double standard. But Hassan has a very specific thing he's trying to say. So he was very hyperbolic and direct about one thing, right? But the other thing was also like, he's saying something materially different. Like he's saying like, don't pre-commit to a candidate. And also the harm reduction narrative thing is really a good point. Like it's probably one of the best, like it's a point that liberals need to fucking understand, which they don't. And like consultants have fucked over so much that it's hard to get that point through. But like, like that's kind of my point.
Party. So I can totally grant that you meant to say like, you were asked, You were asked, would you vote for J.D. Vance or Gavin Newsom? You said, I'd vote third party. At that point, it doesn't even matter.
I think people forget that Hassan is trying to rage bait to attract attention. He has admitted that he does do that so that people watch his content so he can present the normal beliefs. I just told you that's an actual I told you that's an actual activist tactic. And I don't want to downplay that because sometimes that is important. Like, it is really, really important sometimes, even if you disagree with it. It's like blocking traffic or something like that. You're pissed at it, but you look into it. And to be honest, fascists do that shit all of the time, and that gains them power. So if you're fighting fascism, that is something that you have to put in your toolkit. And it's messy. It's a messy thing to do. The problem is that so many times that can get misconstrued. This is one of the times where it did get misconstrued, but there are other times, specifically over the last year, where it hasn't. Right? Where, like it's very, very clear where something shocking takes everybody by storm and they're like, we have to fucking look at this and we have to fucking talk about this. And this has to be the reason we push forward, instead of like letting things go by. Defund the police was actually half and half. Believe it or not, like, while it did cost electorally and like just like political optics wise, the political optics of it it's partially because people didn't do enough to fucking explain it, right? But in terms of like gaining share of people who have skepticism of the prison industrial complex, it did a good amount of work, and without I'm going to be very honest. Without defund the police, you don't get to abolish ICE. That just doesn't happen, right? We would have defund ICE if that was the case. You needed to have them run into that wall, get bloodied, and have to deal with the optics of that information and people shouting that down to get to this point where you see, and that's really scary if you think about it, if there's a world where Alex Preddy and Renee Good happen and people are just kind of middling about it. They're not. They're very, very angry. And we could have been in that world if activists weren't like, and again, I think it should have been phrased differently because of my marketing brain, but I can even admit when I'm wrong, because if that hadn't have happened, when this came about, when Trump did try to go full fascistic here, right? You wouldn't have had the massive amount of blowback and the turning point in his presidency with those two things.
It feels like you're drawing a false equivalency. And then a few days later, you basically said Gavin Newsom will only be marginally better than whatever Republican candidate there is. Then you said Democrats have literally written you out of existence regarding trans people.
Wait, did you see the rest of that quote?
I watched the video, but yeah, I watched what's the rest of the quote?
Did you hear me say that marginal differences between each candidacy, like marginal differences between two parties, leads to drastically different outcomes for marginalized populations? Having said that, however, from the eye of like a voter, they don't make that distinction at all, especially if they are coming at it from a privileged position. If it doesn't like attack, if it doesn't harm them at all.
He's spot on.
And
that's true.
Not
but
only
there's not
that,
a marginal. So you're kind of conflating two things. When you say there's a marginal difference between the two parties, I think that signals to people that either way they vote, it doesn't really matter that much. That's how people take that. When you say trans people.
That's not what he means, right? Like, but that's again, like that's something where it's like marginal differences hurt marginal. Let me have him re-say it because it's a
beholden to corporate interest when it comes to like
Newsom. You said I'd vote third party at that. I watched the video, but yeah, I watched what's the rest of the quote?
Did you hear me say that marginal differences between each candidacy, like marginal differences between two parties, leads to drastically different outcomes for marginalized populations? Having said that, however, from the eye of like a voter,
marginal differences between two parties leads to drastically different outcomes for marginalized populations, right? So like, that's what I'm trying to say is like a lot of time, like that's what he's trying to say. He's trying to say that like when you try to be like, that's them, but where we have the sensible version of this idea, like where it's like deport people, but do it humanely, right? Like the when they're both running on these like optics of like we're going to secure the border and the law and order thing, but you have it like we're going to do the good version of that, right? The whole narrative and everything has been built by right-wing propaganda to be that there's lawlessness in our streets, blah blah blah. When the crime rate is going down, and you're making a nuanced difference there where the underlying thing is not nuanced. Like the underlying thing that they've crafted a fake narrative. And so when you're trying to nuance it to the normal narrative, marginalized people are going to get hurt. They're going to be the currency that you pay for trying to nuance people onto the like understanding and the balanced side of things, right? There is a balanced side of like having a border that like that's okay and everything like that, but it's not like massively deporting people or making acting like criminals are all immigrants and like we should like make sure that our country doesn't let anybody in and all that shit like that, right? Like he talks about it later on in this, like how when we didn't have immigration customs enforcement and the DHS, which was fucking Bush administration bullshit, So I think that's a good point. Somebody else also said, I think people forget that. No. Where was it? Honestly, the Blue No Matter Who crowd allowed the DNC to rest on its laurels, and it constantly didn't promote candidates that the majority really loved. You can pull any number of examples. It's not even the Blue No Matter Who crowd. It's not. It's like that's. Like, I'm trying to tell you, it's not that. It's just the apparatus of you have around politics. Like, your enemy isn't Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. They are symptoms of your enemy. Your enemy is the political system and culture, right? Like, if I am a rapper and I want to be like, man, Universal Music is keeping me from releasing my music. No, it's not Universal Music. It's the fucking industry and the way the industry is shaped that's fucking your music. That's why people rail against Hollywood and not against specifically Paramount or Warner Brothers. Okay? Political parties are labels. They don't give a shit. If tomorrow they made like, I'm telling you tomorrow, if suddenly, like, I'm gonna make this really easy for you. If in 2026 or even in 2028, if all of the candidates that win primaries and are elected are socialist, and that can happen, by the way, right? Like, where, because the the center party in the Democrats, right? The reason they're so aggressive right now is because they're fighting to maintain hold of the party. This happens all the time. It's a fight right now. We're in the middle of the fight. It's not, they haven't won yet. So they're trying to bank on, like, oh, we've already won. Don't even try. We already control everything. That helps them. So if you say, like, actually they can fuck up and they can lose, they get very, very scared. So even if they try to do shit like have everybody drop out, blah, 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 because Republicans did that too, and Donald Trump won. Like, let's the center party in the centrists in the Democratic Party, right? If socialists won the next, like all of the next elections, right? Like overnight, you would see Hakeem Jeffries start talking about, start quoting Marx, like everything would be revised. Medicare they would like aggressively push for Medicare for all. They would do all of these things. They would also have really controversial opinions that are like, you know, like they would flirt with the North Korea idea. And that, again, I don't blanket support anything, right? Because I think like these are two systems that have, capitalism and socialism are systems that are like so fucking old. I think you need like a very comprehensive system to deal with the world we live in today. I don't think these, I'm trying to tell you, these people are beholden to like whatever keeps them in power and is popular. They're not beholden to, their ideologies cave in at a certain point. There are certain people who are ideological in these parties. To be honest, John Fetterman is one of them. That's why he's such an asshole right now, because he's ideologically very, you know, like he truly is like a right-wing guy now. He truly is like a conservative, right? And so like, I don't think he's lying. I don't think he's gonna suddenly switch back to being like progressive and everything like that. If that happens, I'll be really fucking surprised. But like he believes what he said. Tucker Carlson believes what he says. They believe what they say. Okay, so they're gonna stay stuck. But other people who are just doing it for the money, and there are a lot of motherfuckers who are just doing it to keep their fucking jobs, they will flip like that, right? And that's why you have to know, I understand the idea of third parties. There's a way to do that, but like if you don't have a robust like lead-in, and we haven't had a robust lead-in, there's not a lot of third-party viability for 2026. Like you have to, like, for 2028, you start now and then you lead up to it. But like the easiest way, and probably the best risk reward, is winning primaries against Democrats, and then the Democrats having to adopt your thing, because the Democratic Party is a corporation, and they run like a corporation, and corporations will drop all of their morals if it lets them survive, if their branding benefits from it. That's always how it works. Thank you for coming to my Zed talk for the third time. I'm still streaming. Hassan Minaj did a great piece where he talked about the MAGAs and the defund the police without saying defund the police. The most people agree with the policies without the buzzword. I mean, yeah, the whole point is like for defund the police, to be honest, Biden ran on that idea of what defund the police was, but just didn't say defund the police. And then didn't do a lot of the shit that he said he was going to do, because, you know, he's a politician. It's political shot content. I do wonder if it's more harmful than helpful. It is more harmful than helpful. I see it frequently weaponized with the far right and attracting right people to the cause you're trying to help. It's been unhelpful since it came out. Fox News is that. Fox News is right-wing talk radio. It's fucking horrible. I hate it. Mockler white-splaining. He's not. They actually had a really respectful conversation. I would look at it. They were very respectful. Hassan Parkle says normal shit because I avoid his content so I don't get a bunch of annoying rage-baiting nonsense from the algorithm. He does say normal shit, but like he also says a lot of wild shit. He's a pundit. Don't believe pundits, man. Like Pundits are like comfort food, okay? Like, do you like chocolate cake? Sometimes chocolate cake really hits the spot. If all you have is chocolate cake, you're gonna fucking have like you're gonna have the biggest fucking you're fucked if you're only having chocolate cake all the time. They would squirm. I'm here for Z Talks. Thank you. I appreciate you. Fetterman should be primaried. He should be primaried. I'm not actually like supporting Fetterman. Fuck Fetterman. But like he should be primaried. But you have to like when you're fighting somebody, you have to know whether they're telling the truth or they're telling you bullshit, right? If they're telling the truth, then you fight them differently than if they're giving you bullshit. If they really believe what they're saying, ideologically, they're going to have logical things to help their logic work, right? And you have to beat them on the merit of like whether their thing is beneficial or not. If they're lying to you and they're grifters, then you beat them on their hypocrisy because they don't actually believe their thing and they can't argue it in a way that is consistent, you know? And if they're in the middle of the line, then it's very, very tough. You know, then you do the 50 Cent thing and fuck with them. We watched that for a little bit. So let's move on, because I think this is worth watching, but it's a 2-hour segment. You kind of get what I'm saying. I think the last thing I'll say is like, let me just double check he listed some presidential candidates I think were interesting to talk about.
And that you also have an affirmative, exciting message that's pro.
Yeah, we're a nation of migrants. Donald Trump and the Republican reactionary forces are constantly pitting neighbor against.
And by the way, they came to an understanding. By the way, they came to like an agreement. And then Camila Cabello said something, and then everybody just sniped at each other again.
Totally agree. We should be running on all of this, but after ICE is abolished, I think that Democrats need to run on something like a new law that has criminal penalties for any government actors that just recklessly names the primary as somebody.
Because those weakest.
I watched a decent amount of. I agree with you. I've agreed.
Are they too woke? All this stuff. Do you feel like we will be able to overcome up and down the timeline? Where were you for Cori Bush? Where were you?
Well, actually, let me very quick because it's on Twitter, so I have to go through Twitter. I'll answer that super chat in a second. Trust me, I want to talk about that too. Let's see. What am I trying to do? Oh yeah, it was Mehdi Hassan or Hassan Piker, 2028 candidates, right? He had a thing where he said, yeah.
I'm excited to have a good primary. Who would you? Who's your dream ticket right now? Or I guess who do you want to see just like in the primary put up a fight? I like
the candidates lately. I like are, I mean, obviously AOC, Ro Khanna, Chris Van Hollen. I would say those are, and then my sleeper pick, depending on how he, like, of course I love Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and stuff, but like I'm talking about like who has ambitions for higher office in general, and Summerlee as well. But as far as like the three contenders that I brought up, those are three. The dark horse is again entirely dependent on how they would design their campaign, but like someone like Jon Stewart could be interesting.
Dude,
even though I don't think he's.
If Jon Stewart ran, that shit's over, dude. That would be a dub. Like, and it's because like that's what I'm saying. Is like he says that he can't, and that's what you got to know. Why politics is so fucked is like the people who would be the best at the job don't fucking run for the job because it's so fucked up. Like Jon Stewart would crush that shit. He would crush that shit, and he doesn't believe it because he puts himself in the comic space. But like, man, he would crush that shit. Man, he would crush that shit. Please talk about the Texas Senate race more. That race is breaking people's brains. Okay, sure. I will talk about the Texas Senate race in a second. We'll go to that, and then we'll go into the DNC report. Okay. And yeah, Stewart says he doesn't really want to be president. I don't think he wants to be. That's why he would be a good one because he doesn't care about the ambition. He just wants to help people. And so, like, if you listen to anybody who works in like a Jon Stewart run production, like most of the time, like the Daily Show was like a fucking workhorse, right? Like the way they ran their room was really, and even coming back, like everybody who talks about working at the Daily Show is just like, oh my god, this is fucking great. Like I learned so much here, and it's a brilliant. It can be frustrating, but it's like it's not only efficient. It's warm to a lot of people. It has problems. It has blind spots. You can talk to Wyatt Cenac, but like, yeah, He'd be great.
even remotely invested in that. And or like a Sean Fain, for example, like an outsider pick. And then my sleeper pick, once again, depending on how he actually communicates on the issue of Israel, because he's both been really good early on and then really bad. John Ossoff. I think John Ossoff is I think John Ossoff is the reason why I call him a sleeper pick is because I think he's a very interesting guy. I think he is more progressive than he lets on. And that's and I'm saying this only as someone who's like paid very close attention to how he has communicated at times. And my chat is already fucking up my ass for saying that. John Ossoff, when it was not even remotely favorable to do so in fucking Georgia, came out and had an anti-Israel position out of nowhere. And he's Jewish. And he came out. And then he got fucking yelled at. Like every like Jewish advocacy organization immediately came after him.
John Ossoff knows ball. Like people think like he is a politician, right? But if you wanted a good version of Gavin Newsom, like if you wanted the Gavin Newsom who is not tainted by the American psycho, the non-American psycho Gavin Newsom. I think it would be. That's being really rude to Ossoff. I think Ossoff has a lot of really strong things. He is a politician, I think, still, but like he does have still some core beliefs that he will push on, and he can work on. But I mean, we'd have to see.
What are you doing? What the fuck are you saying? And he quickly conceded. He was like, "Oh, my bad, my big mistake." Obviously, there's also the Lake and Riley bill, the vote that he made. But for me, I remember the moment where before pressure. But in the absence of pressure, he had a unique moment there. Not to say that he's like my favorite candidate at all.
I think he brought up some good candidates. I think Ro Khanna is kind of like, and then you have Ossoff there. I think Ro Khanna is good, but I don't like entirely trust Ro Khanna. I think there's some weird shit going on. It's kind of, yeah. I not that he's weird, but like I think that he's definitely like campaigning. is what like it's very obvious. I don't think he's charismatic to win anything. I think AOC is probably the strongest, most charismatic version of that, and she does still have beliefs that she will stick to, because she'll swing at positions that. She'll take positions that are unpopular with the establishment and push them, and she'll push the establishment, which you need a little bit more than somebody who just plays nice all the time. But I it's still fucking 2 years ahead. I don't believe, and then American Psycho here, apparently struggling with dyslexia. Okay, let's talk about some other stuff though. Okay, because I've bored you with that interview long enough, and we got 300 people in here. What's up, y'all? How you doing? There was no show today, but I wanted to stream a little bit, talk to everybody, have a good time. I fasted today because, I'm Muslim and that's a thing that we do. It was good. Wasn't super long today. It's always like really bad the first time you come back in, but then it's really easy. Okay. Dalek Renegade 2596. So what about Iran? First off, I gotta be very quick. I have a bone to pick with you. Okay. You're a Dalek renegade, so Daleks are fascism. So let's be very clear about that. But Dalek renegade, thank you. All right, well let's talk about Iran. I have a lot of feelings about Iran right now. Right? I think the Trump, yeah. First off, Donald Trump clearly wants to start some shit. I fucking hate that. Yeah. Trump clearly wants to start some shit and pressure Iran, right? And they're in nuclear talks, all of this other shit. I don't know about whether he's going to do anything because, again, I think that's... You can argue why Venezuela was a play for Trump because he gained like what he gained, like being the fucking piece of shit that he is, right? Benefits his goals more than it hurts them. I feel like starting something with Iran would collapse his goals very quickly. It would be chaos, but like I always work off of incentives. Like that's what I always think. Like, what does Donald Trump want? Like when he's throwing a tantrum, he still wants something, right? And like I explained it in that episode. Like I think that the way he attacked Iran, like Venezuela, was similar to what you would see from Russia hitting Ukraine or China hitting Taiwan. Was that like, oh, the big superpowers in the world have a country they bully and just take. And we're one of them, and we're gonna bully and take this country, and they're gonna do what we want to fucking do. And we're gonna sell crude oil, right? And it's an authoritarian move, but these are like the strong. He believes that this is the strong. I think that he thinks that it's the strongman economy, and that's how you deal with things. The problem is it destabilizes the world, and Russia and China benefit from it, not him. Like, because the United States is so uniquely, people know Putin and Xi are priced in to some extent at this point, right? To where, you know, like their problematic nature and duplicity is well known to the people they are working with and around. Donald Trump is erratic. So people who would do a deal, like you would rather work with the devil you know than the devil you don't. So like I think it's uniquely harmful with the way he's done things because he seems vengeful and fucking like a baby and petulant. But like for Iran, I don't know how this would help him in any of his goals to be it wouldn't be a strong man, it would be a fucking idiot. It would immediately diminish his position as a strong man, right? Because again, like Venezuela makes him look what I fucking did. Even the fucking like Mexican cartel stuff today makes people go, oh, look what I did. But I think this would fuck him. U.S. President Donald Trump is questioning why Iran has not yet capitulated in the face of Washington military buildup in the Middle East. The President's special envoy Steve Witkoff has said, Witkoff told Fox News on Saturday that Trump was curious about Iran's position after he had warned of a limited military strike if the deal was not reached on Tehran's nuclear program. U.S. and its European allies suspect Iran of moving towards making a nuclear weapon, which it denies. Within Iran, anti-government protests were staged at several universities across the weekend. The first rallies on such a scale since January's deadly crackdown by the authorities, which saw thousands killed. One thing that I do have to say is I think it's very frustrating to have ideological people just kind of like take a side on the Iran thing. Like everybody I know who's from Iran or who has family in Iran or who lives in Iran, like not a fan of the government. And there's no like reality where like cheering them on in the case of Western aggression is a good thing, because the people are always the people who suffer, right? Like they will be like if the Shah, if the people who run Iran, you know, get their way, so many people will be killed. If the U.S. gets their way, so many people will be killed. You know, so the thing is that I wouldn't glaze anybody in this situation. There's not a better. That's a lesser of two evils issue, right? And so like it's weird to me that people who would say like I'm not going to do the lesser of two evils are literally picking the lesser of two evils. Iran is they're not good, man. They don't care. It's like they are anything that they say that's anti-Western or pro-Palestinian is just done to keep power, right? Something that you should know about Middle Eastern countries, especially if you're from the Middle East, is we all fucking hate our governments. I think Imran Khan is like the first person in like Pakistan who's like people like, or like Bhutto maybe, right? Like there's some celebrity politicians every once in a while, but like by and large, Middle Eastern, South Asian people are very distrustful of the government because we think that a lot of people are corrupt. We're always like a lot. You go to any auntie, if it's Ramadan, go to a get together and see how many of your uncles and aunts are conspiracy theorists, right? They all have them. So like I don't think that there's a world where, you know, the government is like super. The government of Iran or the government of Pakistan or any of these governments are super like for the people. We haven't reached that yet in the Middle East, you know. I very much so worried about that kind of stuff. So like, I don't know, man. I don't know what happens with Iran from this point, but I do know that I do know very much so that Trump. See, because I don't want to say I don't think he's going to strike it. That's my gut, but I could be wrong. If he has some weird goal, he could do it, but I don't see what the goal is here. You know? And with Venezuela, he was way more, like, he still signaled stuff, but he signaled stuff way in advance, right? This is moving really fast, and there's a lot of people, even on his side, who don't want that, because it'll fuck things up, except for Lindsey Graham, but he's a piece of shit. So that's my thoughts on Iran. You can let me know what you think. Comrade Broski, thank you so much for the super chat. But can John Ossoff hit the Ed Dream combo? Asking the real questions. First off, Comrade Broski. First off, yes, if he plinks, okay, all right. I will go down to Georgia and teach John Ossoff that Ed combo if he needs it. All right. First off, but also, if you wanted any more of a politician, he would play Ed. That's the politician's character. He's playing Ed. He's playing the character who we didn't want, but we got. Kaiser617, thank you so much. Hey, I see you commenting all the time, man. I appreciate you. $5 for the super chat. Thank you for helping me keep my sanity in these insane times. What are your thoughts on Discord's new age verification policy? That's something we should fucking talk about. Let's do this. Let's talk about Discord's age verification. See, I wanted to do an episode, but I would have gotten too bogged down by talking too long into things. Also, if you want me to switch, I'm gonna tell you now. If you want me to switch subjects, just type veto in the chat, and if I see enough of them, I'll switch. No. What? Reject all. 17,000 cookies on my computer. Okay. Let's talk about hackers expose Discord age verification. No, hold on. Well, that's not what I wanted to click on, but that's something we should look at. Wait, hold on. What? Oh, what? Okay. Well, this is new. Security researchers claim Persona, the provider behind Discord's UK age verification experiment, performs 269 individual verification checks on user data, including those for terrorism and espionage. And then also, yeah, that's what it is. It's a huge privacy invasion. Discord's age verification rollout has been met with, shall we say, dismay by many of the users on the platform, with many hunting for better and more privacy-focused alternative. The news was even less well received when Discord informed some UK users that they may be part of an experiment with an age verification provider called Persona, which obviously, goes into people's minds and tries to steal their thoughts. Shout out if you got that reference. The lead investor of which, in its most recent rounds of capital funding, was a venture fund co-founded and directed by none other than Peter Thiel. What the fuck? The co-founder of Palantir, a surveillance technology firm that has been hitting headlines recently for working on apps that help track targets of the U.S. government's deportation efforts, and claims that it may be compiled databases from private information of U.S. citizens naturally. Discord later said that it had concluded testing with Persona's platform. Anyway, security and privacy data concerns around Persona's data verification efforts have been spreading, and now 3 security researchers say they've discovered a Persona front end that was exposed to the open internet on a U.S. government-authorized server. Quoting directly from the researchers' blog, the team says that the work was supposed to be a passive recon investigation, which quickly turned into a rabbit hole deep dive into how commercial AI and federal government operations work together to violate our privacy every waking second. We didn't even have to write or perform a single exploit. The entire architecture was just on the doorstep. All right, here are my thoughts on the article. Well, let me finish this real quickly. 53 megabytes of unprotected source maps on FedRAMP. Hold on. There are 2 people who... Well, there's another super chat, but I'll get to it in a second. Thank you, Dumpster Fire Grace, for the $3 super chat. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the emote. 53 megabytes of unprotected source maps on the FedRAMP government endpoint, exposing the entire codebase of the platform that files suspicious activity reports with FinCEN, compares your selfie to a watch list photos using facial recognition, screens you against 14 categories of adverse media from terrorism to espionage, and tags reports with code names from active intelligence programs. Holy fuck. 2,456 source files containing the full TypeScript code base. The plot continues. Every permission, every API endpoint, every compliance rule, every screening algorithm sitting unauthenticated on the public internet, on a government platform no less. Beyond the astonishing thought that such data could be accessed so easily, it certainly seems like Persona operates more deeply than anyone could reasonably expect. The researchers say that the full verification program performs 269 individual verification checks across 14 check types, including selfie suspicious entity detection. What makes... Oh my god, dude. That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. All right. I have a load of thoughts. First off, and don't take I'm gonna say this either way because I'm gonna give you a bunch of conflicting things. Number one, just to preface this, there are many different platforms and things that have collected data similar to this, that consistently use your data, that have tried to take data and use it, but they are very inefficient at using it. But that still harms users. So I would not think that we're living in Big Brother, so I don't think that yet. That being said, that is shady as fuck. That is scary and shady as fuck. And look, I mean, like, there's... The thing about AI and facial recognition is that the way these things work with the enormous data sets that they have, for some reason get more inefficient. Like, there's a lot of inefficiency and like fuck ups that they make, which target the wrong people, which hurt the wrong people, right? And you can say that, oh yes, this is for targeting, fringe groups and extremists and terrorists who may be on Discord. Well, here's the fucking problem, okay? There are so many examples of fringe groups on Discord that have been outed and called out and like seen, and you haven't done enough on them. But now you're gonna do this and check. And it's multiple companies doing it. It's Peter fucking Thiel doing it. I don't know, man. I don't know how people stick with Discord after this. That's crazy to me. Like, I don't know why you would stick with Discord if this gets rolled out to the wide world, because this is in their like. I didn't even hear about this, by the way. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't even hear about this thing happening 2 days ago. And I've been looking at headlines. It was not even at the front of the pack. And the problem now is that after this, if Discord does implement this across the board, people who haven't heard about it, like I'm crazy I didn't hear about it, will immediately be pointed to this article, and I don't think that program stays afloat. I think people go back to like IRC if they have to. That's the thing that I think people don't understand. Like, and tech companies don't understand. It's like the scalper problem I mentioned earlier with like cards. Scalpers think that you won't just wait. Like, Nintendo Switch 2 scalpers thought people won't just wait. And I don't know if you know about the Nintendo Switch 2, but like, those prices did not stay high. Like, after that got bought out, it was like $600. People were like, all right, but nobody I knew bought one. And then around Christmas time, I was like, around my birthday, when the Switch 2 came out, I was like, I want to get a Switch 2. I got one for a retail price from a scalper because they couldn't sell it. I got the bundle brand new. That shit happened like even in last Christmas, I got 2 Nintendo Switch 2s for near retail price because people couldn't sell them. So like, and that's gonna happen. Like, you can. I think a lot of people forget that human beings are stubborn, and they will aggressively, like it's one thing if there's a moral conundrum, because people will be inconsistent with their morals. But if you're invading their space and you're like, what do you mean you're gonna find out shit about me? motherfuckers will leave in droves. In droves. And they should. Why the fuck shouldn't they? What has Peter Thiel done, like, to at all inspire confidence? Have you heard about how PayPal just basically fucking drops people and keeps their money? Do you know about that, by the way? That's a very real thing. PayPal they love to just drop people and keep their fucking money. I'm not kidding. Like, I had a friend who lost like 3 or 4 grand in his PayPal account just because they closed that shit. That's fucking crazy. And do I think they do it all the time? No. Like, I'm not saying PayPal account's gonna get closed tomorrow, but I am saying that, like, I don't trust that platform. I don't trust a lot of platforms like that, you know? To be honest, Square is actually pretty secure, but, like, you know, they could turn bad tomorrow. Like, even the tech thing with the way the tech industry is going right now, I mean, it's the same with a lot of other industries, right? They're very, like, they survive right now with, like, right-wing coding. But, like, if you give them even, like, if let's say somebody else comes into power and is like, I'm going to tax the rich. And tech companies, if you pay your workers a living wage, then your taxes are less. They will be the best friends. They'll be like, you know what? They'll all of a sudden they'll have another trans inclusion month. All of a sudden they'll try to play the Democratic voters. We're the good guys. We're the good guys. I don't trust any of these people. You know? Fucking Discord, man. And honestly, like, you know, one thing that I love about, like, with Adobe and Discord and all these fucking companies, like, just blowing themselves up and having so many problems is, like, there's way more alternatives coming out all of the fucking time. My favorite thing was Adobe Premiere. For those of you who know Adobe Premiere and no ball, Adobe Premiere was the alternative to Final Cut. Final Cut was everybody used Final Cut. And Adobe Premiere was like, you're not really taking it seriously. And then one year they got super user friendly. They were like super like, we're for the people. We're going to help you out. And they were like the best. And then they were like, oh, you're on our side? Okay. When the whole world switched to Adobe Premiere, they were like, fuck you. And so now everybody's switching to DaVinci. And I'm really worried about that because I love Blackmagic, but I feel like they're going to be fucking, they're going to do the same thing. PayPal closed my account after I made a joke online about a decade ago. They kept approximately $1,000 at the time I was struggling just to pay for food, and it was devastating. Yeah. They do that shit all the fucking time. Well, I say they don't do it all the time, but, like, they do. Like, they will do that. You can get that $1,000 back sometimes, by the way. Like, you have to go through an arm and a leg to do it, but they don't think people will actually do that. But there are ways you can get it back. You have to be fucking on them, though. So, when did they close it down? If it was recently, I would go after that money. You know? Also, I heard through the grapevine the Discord is absolutely panicking trying to find a replacement for Persona. Yeah. I mean, if that's true, they need to. Discord announces tomorrow Shin Megami Tensei is the new data collection company. They use devils to collect your data. Okay. Well, that's there. Before I got into all of that, I was going to talk about the Democratic. By the way, next time I'm going to do this, I'm going to get the chat up here because the chat is not working like it should. You should be able to see a chat pop, but you can't because, you know, it's just not linked. If Maddie's watching, she's going to be mad at me. But, like, let's go to very quickly this Democratic, the DNC report. So if you don't know, remember the DNC, oh, hold up, super chat. Notoriously bratty, thank you so much for the $6.99 in Canadian dollars. Always appreciate and trust your perspective as you say what you mean and believe. Thanks for making staying informed easier. Thank you so much. Thank you for making my ability to help people easier. I like doing this. I want to do this, man. I want to help people. I know how fucking hard this shit is, and it's not easy, you know? Okay, hold on. Let's go to the DNC shit because I think that's kind of crazy. Okay, Inaki Godoy. Here we go. Alrighty. All fucking righty. Okay? Here's the thing. I'm going to maintain two things to you. Okay? People who were pro-Gaza didn't lose Harris the election. If you add up all of the people who voted third party and all that kind of shit, and like who would have abstained from voting, all that kind of stuff, like who on election day did that and turned left, wouldn't have saved Kamala the election. There were people who shifted from Biden to Trump, and people who voted enthusiastically for Biden who didn't vote for Kamala. Okay, so there's enough data to say that. However, this is also important because the DNC buried this. And it is important because it ties into, it coalesces with the other information that's out there. Okay? So let's talk about this. Scoop. Dems working on secret report found Gaza cost Harris votes. Top. Fuck you, Axios. Fuck you, Axios. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can find it somewhere else. Secret report Gaza. Okay. Let's see. No, DNC Gaza. Oh, okay. Well, hold on. No, that's Times of Israel. I don't want to do that. Wow. Okay, well we can't find it. I'm gonna have to look online. Hold on. Let's see if I can pay for this off screen and read it. That's what I'm gonna tell you. Okay? I'm being very, very consistent with what I'm saying right now. Just give me a minute. I'll go into this in detail, okay? All right? I can't show you this because it's important. I don't want to get in trouble. Okay, cool. Okay. Yay! All right, let's. Oh shit. That doesn't matter. Okay. Dems working on secret report found Gaza cost Harris votes. I'm over it now. Top Democratic officials who worked on the party's still secret autopsy of the 2024 election concluded that Kamala Harris has lost significant supporters because of Biden administration's approach to the war in Gaza, Axios has learned. Why it matters. The Democratic National Committee research on what went wrong in 2024 has been under lock and key since party leaders decided last year to hide it from the public, a reflection of how explosively it could resonate within the party and beyond. Progressive and moderate Democrats are particularly divided over Israel, with the left more critical of that nation's actions against Palestinians in Gaza, and many questioning the U.S.'s unwavering support for Israel. Zoom in. During her brief campaign, Harris sought to strike a balance, showing strong support for Israel while calling for a ceasefire and expressing sympathy for Palestinians under the attack in Gaza, as well as the hostages being held by Hamas. She did do this. Okay? I know that it feels like she didn't, but she did absolutely do this. Okay? The DNC aides putting together that report on Harris's loss to Donald Trump had a closed-door conversation with pro-Palestinian group about the Israel-Gaza conflict. Activists from the IMEU Policy Project told the DNC that the Biden-Harris administration's support for Israel was a factor in the party's losses because it drained support from some of the young people and progressives. Hamid Bindas, a spokesperson for the IMEU Policy Project, said that during the meeting, the DNC shared with us their own data and also found that policy was, in their words, a net negative in the 2024 election. Two other senior aides at the pro-Palestinian organization said that the DNC had drawn that conclusion. Axios independently verified that the Democratic officials conducted the autopsy believed the issue harmed the party's standing with some voters. The intrigue, the IMEU Policy Project, is now accusing the DNC of withholding its report in part because of its findings on Israel. DNC spokesman Kendall Whitmer denied that. When DNC officials announced last year that they wouldn't release the audit, they said it was because they didn't want the report to distract from the work of winning elections. I both believe that and don't believe that. That, by the way, the distract thing, that can be true as well. And the reason it would distract is because of how you fucked up there. Do you understand? It's how you fucked up there. Yeah, I believe you, but it's because of what they're saying. What they're saying, the DNC confirmed that it spoke with the IMEU IMEU policy project and hundreds of others as part of its analysis, and said it was grateful for the conversation, but it didn't provide additional details about it. Ben, how? First off, if you're going to be an organization that covers shit up, can you not do it like shit? Like, Here's why I don't believe in Democratic National Committee like conspiracies, okay? Let me explain to you why I don't believe in committee conspiracies. This is a cover-up. It is the shittiest cover-up I've ever fucking seen. These are the people who are orchestrating behind the scenes to fucking to be controlled opposite. Like, no, there's no way. This is so bad at your basic job. Okay? This is like if you you know what this is like? This is like it's like if you played Metal Gear Solid. Like if you're talking about espionage, this is like if you played Metal Gear Solid for the first time and just ran in and fired everything. What are you doing? What the fuck is this, dog? This is crazy. Okay. DNC official says they're integrating their research from the audit into discussions with candidates and campaigns. Are they? Sure. Asked for comment to Harris, aide pointed to the former vice president's recent comments about the war in Gaza on a tour stop for her memoir, 107 Days. We should have done more as an administration, Harris said at the event, adding that we should have spoken publicly about our criticism of how Israel leader Benjamin Netanyahu executed the war. Flashback. Harris said in her book that President Biden's unpopularity, which she argued was partly because of his perceived blank check to Netanyahu, harmed her in 2024. Harris wrote that she privately pleaded with Biden to show more empathy for civilians in Gaza, but during her campaign, she declined to publicly break with him over Israel. Here's the thing. I do believe Harris on that because she was outspoken about Israel before Biden was. She directly said some stuff about it and then was immediately silenced. And she admitted that in the book, right? But people clocked it way earlier. There was also multiple times where her aides had leaked wanting to change policy, right? But, you know, she didn't. Because her fucking aides were Biden aides, and they're fucking assholes, right? The other people who were running her campaign were Biden people, right? Like, I cannot overstate, and this is not me trying to, like, shit. Listen, like, I always try to see things with nuance. I'm not going to be like, oh, Joe Biden did nothing, right? There are things that Joe Biden directly did that were helpful, but his optics and the way he fucking handled shit was really bad. And one of the things he did was, since fucking the mid of Obama's presidency, you know, the whole, like, man, he's really become, like, way more of a centrist. Like, that version, I have this suspicion, I have this theory, I have this feeling it's 100% Biden people. I'm not going to take all the blame off Obama, but like there's a lot of reports about like, oh, well, he couldn't get a coalition together, so Biden had that bipartisan thing to try to get certain things passed with the ACA and all that shit. Sure, I believe that, and and all of that tracks with the way they've been running elections for the last 12 years. But man, the issues I have with... Okay, let me finish with Harris first. Even though Harris has a better position on Gaza than she let on, she still is like an incentivized politician because she frequently, like, I do believe she believes things, and she has beliefs that are probably more progressive than you would think, but she consistently projects as a centrist and projects what will work. Like, you can tell in the way she campaigns where the act is. You can tell when she's being genuine and where the act is. It was so fucking easy to see. Whenever she was in softball interviews, those were fake as shit. Whenever she was combating Brett Baer or other people, you saw her, right? Her speech seemed super fugazi, right? But in points where she was like, yo, I have to fucking talk, she was direct. Right? And that's where you would see the more progressive version of her come out. In the beginning, when she gave an answer, people said it was word salad and she shut up. Right? That's not what you do. You fucking stick by your guns. Like, and she had policies that she was trying to get across. AOC, when she said that she did word salad, what'd she do? Fucking, I'll get better at it, whatever. Like, keep it pushing. That's what Obama did. That's what most people do when they're confronted with that stuff. That's what fucking all of these, like Donald Trump word salads all the time. We're not going to fucking act like that doesn't happen. But anyway, I'm not trying to defend AOC or anything. That's my thoughts on Harris for this. My other thoughts on the DNC for this, right? Like, bro, like I would love to believe it would be so easy to just go, man, AIPAC's doing this. And partially it is because of AIPAC. I know they have a bunch of candidates and a bunch of people who are funded by AIPAC, right? But again, if I'm looking at sleazy politician versus cabal-induced, like, brilliant Machiavellian scheme, because nobody fucking brilliant covers shit up this poorly, okay? Like, if I'm looking realistically at what the fuck happened, 100% it's the same corporate let's keep shit clean idea. We don't want to get into another fight about Gaza because that's going to follow us everywhere. We don't want to say we were wrong. We just want to say that because it's going to make us look like we were assholes, but Donald Trump won. And we have to keep the focus on him. And it's the dumbest fucking consultants who are doing it. 100% the consultants scuttled this. 100%. Israel policies, so they've changed the language on it. That's what they're consulting about. Fucking insane. Insane. Data Alien Gaming, thank you again for the $2. Here's some money for the article. Thank you so much, man. Here's the money to pay for that article. Thank you so much. I'm gonna pay for it right now. Like, that's the fucking problem, dude. That's always been the problem with all of this. Pay for itself. I'm gonna get an Axios subscription just to make sure that works. Okay. I mean, it worked, so it's fine here now. Fucking A, dude. Thank you guys for the super chat, though. I appreciate you, and I feel bad now. And I'll give away, if I can give away gift subs, I'll do that. But bro, like, fucking all of this shit with the DNC, dude. Like, I keep trying to tell people, and I just want to make it clear, because no part. It's not a conservative rag. It's Axios. Axios had some of the most intense grilling of Donald Trump in his first presidency I've ever seen. I don't know if you saw the interview, but that was a huge turning point when their interviewer came in there and just fucked him up. Like, that was really bad. But, like, for him. But, like, very quickly, and I need to make this clear. Like, there's no part of me that wants to cover or downplay like Zionism lobby's like ability to like I understand the propaganda that's gone on for the last fucking 70 years, right? That's not what I'm trying to talk about. But like, I want to identify what the problem is with political parties, okay? And it's the same thing. Like, again, I keep saying like political parties are like labels, or they're just corporations, man. If you ever worked at like a big like building job, like where like a desk job and shit like that, it's the same thing. It's basically, there's two types of people there. There are creative people who desperately believe in what they're saying. They believe 100% in the things they are saying and the things they believe and what they live and die off of. Hold on one second. Is my stream working? Hold on. For some reason, my streaming thing went bananas, and is no longer. Hold on. I'm so sorry, guys. Give me 10 seconds. Where's the streaming thing? Where's the streaming thing? Am I live right now? Yeah. Okay, there we go. God damn, what happened? Very quickly. I have to do this right now. $100 super chat. Thank you so much, H7HJ59FHEF. Gotta wake up in 6 hours for work, so I'm on peace out. Thank you for what you do, man. No, thank you, man. Thank you for making this possible, man. I appreciate you so fucking much, all of you guys. Thank you for sticking around, and thank you for listening to me. All right? Goddamn, I appreciate you, yo. Listen, I need to make this really clear to everybody involved. All right? Everything happening with like with let me pop out chat so people can actually see chat. I'm gonna actually like put the chat here so you can actually see and listen to me, you know. Where are you going? So you guys can see yourselves. There you go. Yeah, there you go. You're on screen now. All right, there you go. Sub chat. But listen, like, I need to make this really clear. Like, the DNC is a corporation, okay? Like, the way corporations and corporate people work is like there's creatives of corporations and there's logistical people. Creatives of corporations believe what they believe and have these big ideas and big scope. They want to try to push things forward. They have ideas on how to capitalize on things and make things into... They have momentum and they build things out. But they are messy and they are disorganized and they tend to be late on a lot of things. Logistical people are never late. They are so on the dot. They got their shit together. They've got everything organized. They can present things in the best possible way. They are clear communicators. Super reliable. They also suck. They have no creative bone in their body. They fucking... whatever creative bones in their body they have, they cannot express them in a way that makes sense. They are so behind on everything because they are so deadly organized, right? Here's the thing. A lot of times in corporations, logistical people who look at numbers and sheets take over because they're the most reliable. And they expunge the creative element to some point where it just fucks the whole thing up. And then the whole company stagnates. I saw this at Apple. Saw this at other places I worked. Right, all the time. It's just this constant battle because they think that creatives are children who don't understand things, and we have to be the reasonable adults in the room in order to make things happen, or else everything will fall. Does that sound fucking familiar? Because that's exactly how a lot of the centrists treat leftists. Right? It's not that the centrists don't believe in the same things and single payer, like, and what is it, Medicare for all and all of these things. And it's not that they don't see and understand, like, that, like, I'm talking about the people who are opportunists, right? Like, those people understand what's going on, but they're trying to be, like, logistical and, like, think through things and organized. They're so risk averse. This is risk averse. This is the danger of being averse to risk. When it costs people's lives, and it cost, because it didn't just cost people in Gaza their life. It didn't just cost like the election. It costed all of the shit we're experiencing now. Like, let's say Kamala Harris did get to have her more progressive position on Israel and Gaza. Let's say that. Let's say she didn't run with Liz Cheney. Imagine that campaign. That's a dramatically different campaign. That feels like the campaign we were getting before all this shit happened. And you can blame the activists who disrupted stuff and all of that kind of stuff. You can blame the racism against black women. That was an enormous part of it. I'm not going to act like that's not. To discount that is ridiculous, right? All things can be true. And if all things can be true, the thing that you need to understand is that, like, these people, I said all things can be true, but I don't think there's a conspiracy true, so I'm kind of fucking caught myself in a little bit of a problem. All things can be true, right? But because that's true, it's all messy. These people are messy. Like, they're not, like they're risk averse and they're fucking up. And this happens all the time. Again, I told you this happened in, like, with the Republicans. It did. They were very risk averse. That they were trying to run Jeb Bush and Rick Perry and all of these like conservative characters who could win. They were gonna run on Ted Cruz. Like, Ted Cruz was the guy that they wanted to push up. He even fucking announced a fake vice president. Before the bottom fell out of that, and Donald Trump ran away with it. Because he wasn't risk averse. He did what he wanted to do. Bernie wasn't risk averse. AOC is risk averse, but she's more risky than other people would be. Even more risky than Donald Trump in some instances for what she actually believes instead of what she thinks is marketable slop. She'll say the thing. You know, I think John Ossoff is. There are people who are like, I think if we're talking about like, if let's go back to the Gavin Newsom thing, like in this DNC report, if we're talking about Gavin Newsom in 2028 or Kamala Harris in 2028, like I'm not trying to be like discount Kamala Harris, but like those are two people who are running in very risk averse ways. His whole fucking platform is risk averse. He is aggressive when it benefits him. He is not aggressive and conciliatory when it makes him look better. He is so marketed right now. And that shit does not look good to people who are so fucking tired of the marketing president just hammering them every fucking day. Why would you want that? The reason Gavin Newsom got his fucking swings and that made him popular is because it seemed risky in contrast to Jeffries and Schumer. He was an establishment Democrat doing that. But like, you see his like book tour interview, which we'll pull up for a second. Like, that shit is like Boy Scout. What are we doing? I think that like when it comes to this kind of stuff, and again, it's the same as 2005. Why didn't fucking John Kerry? Why didn't John fucking Kerry, man with the longest face in American history? Oh my God. Dude, just like it's like a fucking, it's, you know what it, you know what it is? You know what it is? Hold on. It's the fucking, that's John Kerry. That's John Kerry. Okay? All right? Okay, so anyway, John Kerry, pictured here. John Kerry, in 2004, why didn't fucking John Kerry, why didn't John Kerry, like come out against the Iraq war? He was like, we need to just make sure the war is better. Like, the public was like, okay. But, like, there were people who were frustrated with the war. You were letting Bush control the campaign. You were letting them win. Even though people were worried. And it took time. And it was because of that decision, so much worse shit happened. Hundreds of thousands of Iraqis were killed. Because, like, needlessly. And we got into the forever wars became worse. You know? Do I think Obama, like, was just a Boy Scout and everything was good? No, he fucked up a lot of stuff too. Definitely. But, like, there's a lot of stuff. There's like there are meaningful changes that need to happen. If Obama had a more progressive, like, wind behind him than the Biden wind, and again, like, Biden was a choice to try to figure that shit out, to try to have like some contrast. All right. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's, if this is like a fighting game match, if we're doing a comeback mechanic, we're playing footsies with establishment types. All right. Donald Trump rushed that down in the Republican Party. A lot of people who are, and again, I've said before, I don't call myself necessarily like leftist because that definition changes all of the time. But like the things I believe in align a lot with leftists, align a lot with progressives, right? I'm not like, I don't have like really crazy hot takes all the time, but if I have a hot take, it's that, like, stop treating Democrats like a crazy, like, conspiratorial cabal and treat them like a bunch of consultants who don't know what the fuck they're doing. Because when you understand that, it's way easier to beat establishment Democrats. Like, it's so easy. Zoran did it. Okay? Meha did it. All right? Fucking AOC is doing it. Like, oh, there's so many. Like, Ossoff is gonna do it. Like Gavin Newsom is gonna get jumped the second he goes on a primary stage. Okay? Because people in California aren't gonna be like, you know what, Gavin did right. No, people are like, get the fuck out of here, Gavin. You think people in California? Gavin is our American psycho. All right, we're fine with him when he wants to do certain things like clean up the fire. Like, we appreciate you, Gavin. Thank you. But in terms of like things that like we have to like deal with him about, like, we don't want like the rich kid fucking running everything, okay? Zorno's showing how easy it is to fix problems. Holy crap. Him hawing from the fucking Dems. I'm so done with the BS excuses. Yeah, but at the same time, like, dude, like I know that people are also disappointed with certain things that Zoran is doing, right? But again, like, I don't put all of my faith in him. He's a politician, right? John Kerry, who's pictured here. I just wanted to let you know, this is American politician Jonathan Kerry. I just want everybody to understand, this is how he looks. This is him. This is, whenever you open a textbook, if you ever see, like, you guys don't believe me. You guys don't believe me. I'm going to make this way easier for you, okay? 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 Like, I'm just getting tired of people you think I'm just full of shit, okay? Come here. Come here. No, I don't want this picture. I want this picture. I want Mr. Campaign right here, okay? Look at this, okay? I'm going to help you out. You tell me right now you don't see it. You tell me right now you don't see it. You tell me right now. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. You look at me with a straight face, with the straightest face you have ever had. You tell me right now. I don't want to eat your cookies, okay? All right? You tell me this is not him. One of these guys isn't him. Would you vote for that? Would you vote for him now? History would have changed. Okay. All right, I'm done. I'm done with my fucking little bit. All right? Okay? That's all I wanted to say. John Kerry was on Easter Island. Clearly. In 2026, John Kerry would win an election with the statue emoji. Yeah. Probably. Yeah, John. Yeah, to be fair, Zoran cutting libraries is pretty cringe. Yeah, I was pretty upset by that. He has to balance the budget, but I'm still not happy with that. Gavin really kind of looks stoned. I need you to know that the Moi resent being compared to John Kerry. I apologize for that. I don't mean to be that. I think the other comparison. Let me rectify that. I apologize for that. I was just trying to make a joke just trying to roast him a little bit. The other joke that was there, I remember during the primary, was like he looked like the Joker. Yeah. Yeah, this was like a meme that people would pass around. I remember this shit. Yeah. John Kerry and fucking Bush. And we thought Howard Dean was crazy. Oh, god damn it. Yeah. What the fuck is this? All right, my millennial brain is crushing. Cackling in Massachusetts. Yeah, he's a Mario Odyssey enemy confirmed. Clearly, Mario Odyssey enemy. Yeah. But look, that's how I feel about, like, it's ridiculous. Like, I think the DNC, I think from now on, just attacking, when you attack like Democrats, right? Most liberals don't like this shit. Most liberals fucking hate this shit. People who like actually believe in like liberalism and who are not like leftists and like just normies, they don't believe that. They don't like this shit. They fucking hate it. Like when if you told them that these reports are being held from them, they'd be like, why the fuck aren't we voting on this? Why aren't we doing this? Right? So I think the main thing is call out fucking consultants, because consultants suck, right? And they're not the Democratic Party. Every time you conflate them with the Democratic Party, they fucking giggle inside because they like to be known as that. They're not. Get them the fuck out. The Democratic Party is just a fucking blank page. It's not a fucking. It's a bunch of people who will do whatever you want because they be like as long as they get votes. So I don't trust them. I don't trust labels. I don't trust all this shit. That's me rambling. I'm sorry. Okay, enough of you. Let's see. Did you guys see the Alyssa Liu thing? Alyssa Liu's performance? Apparently, a lot of people were trying to compare Alyssa Liu to that Chinese skater, the woman who Eileen Gu, I think. Eileen Gu, yeah. If I'm mispronouncing that, please let me know. I don't want to do that. Yeah, but they listen to them. They listen to them. They listen to them because they, again, it's the corporate thing, right? They have results. Like they present, if if you got like, listen to me. If you see, remember the debate we just saw between Mockler and Hassan, okay? If tomorrow, like, Hassan presented that, like what he just said, to like DNC leadership and had like a statewide address of it, they would shut the fuck up. I don't think they'd shut the fuck up, but like they would get a little worried because they're gonna be fucking fighting that, right? It's the most reasonable messaging he could possibly do, and it's smart he did it to Mockler because Mockler has influence in those circles. Fucking Hakeem Jeffries, like, and it's kind of smart, right? Like Hassan wants to be like, because understand where Hassan's role and lane is, right? Like we all have lanes in different things that we do, okay? Like. Democracy Now! And there was a lot of very, very, very left-leaning, bloggers in the mid-2000s who pushed America who had a way left of center views, right? Aggressively to try to pressure, Bush admin and all this other kind of shit. But like, because of that, they wanted to move the Occam's razor so far that when it snapped back, the center was more left-leaning. That's what both parties are trying to do right now. But the Democratic Party is trying to keep its center. The right wing is trying to obviously move Occam's razor so that the center is more right-leaning than it is left. But that's kind of backfiring on them. I think that Hassan's lane isn't to say like the most like reasonable thing in general. But I do think that like, if you have a giant chorus of people screaming like Medicare for all of these things, like it's a good conversation we're now having, where everybody's kind of, we all don't kind of like Gavin Newsom. That's necessary because now we get to talk about shit. Like it's I don't know. I just don't ever think, because that's how fucking consultants win, and I fucking hate it. I hate it so much. I see it happen all the time in previous places I've worked. They always fucking win because they act like they've already got it, and people are so defeatist about it that they won't fucking fight, and they're like, we're gonna do something else. I'm like, that's a stupid fucking decision. Why are you, what's the point? I'm gonna tell you a story, and it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna tell you a story I haven't told anybody else, and I've told other people in private, and maybe I've told it on here once before, but like it's coded, so you can guess what it is, but I can't name names. So there was a long time ago, I was figuring my shit out, and I got a huge opportunity for this thing, and it was to do a bunch of music and videos and stuff like that. Guess what it is, but like there's a bunch of things I've done over the last few years. So you may not know, may not be obvious. So I was told to do it, got stuff together. I said, hey, I want to do a bigger thing for it, and they were like, that sounds amazing. And so I pulled every string I could. I put a lot of my reputation on online building this thing out, and it was really amazing. And I worked really fucking hard on it, and a giant multinational corporation, which was the parent company of the company I was working with, was like, wait, we want to do this. I would like to do this. You know what? Why doesn't this look like this weird movie I saw this one time? Like, they wanted it to look like this movie this guy had seen a long time ago. I'm not going to mention it because then he'll know who he is. And so I, in my broke ass, before Phil even knew who I was, fucking Honda Civic, driving to try to look for a job and working on this giant project that could literally just save like my career or whatever, am fighting this $1 billion corporation, this guy who sits at the intersection of it, who just doesn't feel like it. And like, I'm like, what the fuck do I do? Like, everything could fall out. And then also my reputation is on the line and it's in jeopardy. Well, I know how corporations work. And so I'm like, I'm going to do my best to do this. The work needs to have so much potential and numbers that look good in the marketing sense. Like, I know that whenever something has marketing behind it, then all of a sudden the consultants shut the fuck up, right? And the guy who was at the top, who wanted things to sound a certain way, wasn't like super opposed, but the people around him, like there were consultants around him who just didn't want me to fucking have, who were like trying to just kill the project when it was 80% done. Well, I worked really hard. I got all this shit done with me and my friends, and it was a big deal, right? A lot of people didn't know I did that. And then we in between it, I also picked up a social media campaign, and I used all of my graphic design ability. I sacrificed time from my job. I got written up for it. I did all of my social media ability and pulled together a social media campaign and put no money behind it, but made an account, did all this kind of stuff for it. And it reached the head of like marketing of that guy's company. And when I posted it, because it went viral from the account that I put it on, and then all of a sudden he was like, "Oh, what the fuck? We did this? Oh, that's so cool. People are talking about it." I never fucking heard objection again. Here's what happened at the project. When the project launched, there was something else that was put there, an activation, if you know what that is, that was put there where the project was, that was directly them trying to fucking, like, people are gonna guess, but like them trying to like supersede me, right? And I told the person who had hired me, like, what the fuck is this? This is such bullshit. I was stressed out over this, right? Okay, didn't matter. That project bombed, and my project took off, right? And I worked with that company for a few more years. Things were good. And then the parent company, the corporation, were like, "Oh, we're good. Give me a hug. We're all good." Okay? I'm not going to fault anybody from there, except the social media lady who I fucking told when they had tweeted out their thing, like, "You're a piece of shit, by the way." But like everybody else, like even the guy who didn't like the project and wanted to scuttle me and everything like that, he was super nice afterwards. All of them were super nice to me. They were super welcoming. But that's how corporations work. That's how they work. When there are incentives, they will shut up. The people who are trying to kill your project will shut the fuck up when there are incentives. Even the creative people, they just want something there. If you compromise with them, they will be on your side and evangelize for you. So what I'm telling you is that the Democrats who are like, "No, we can't mention Gaza, electability. No, we have to run like this. All of them will willingly change stripes if the numbers are there. And the people who like ideologically are the way they are, that's the fight you have to have later on. But like, if you give them like an inch, they'll listen, right? Most of the time. I don't think John Fetterman's going to listen. That guy's gone. But like, you know, it is what it is. Do you get what I'm saying? You know, like if you think it's a conspiracy, you're never going to win because people who want their way bank on you thinking it's a conspiracy and there's nothing to work with. If I thought it was a conspiracy where I would have never won, I would have met Phil. You can guess what the project is. I'm not going to tell you anything more than that because I will get in trouble. Okay. Chris Bach, 142, 599, 499. Thank you so much for the super chat, Chris. Love you, Zed. On an unrelated note, Sony shutting down Blue Point was depressing and frustrating to hear coming from a PlayStation fanboy. It was incredibly depressing. I'm so fucking mad about that. Did you hear about that, guys? I think... Oh, listen, we broke our fast, but we didn't have dinner yet. So I probably have to go in a little bit, but I want to let's talk about this real quickly. And let's talk about the Microsoft AI stuff real quickly. In fact, give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. 1 minute. get it. Walk on stream. Yeah, okay. Enjoy the show, guys. Enjoy the show.
I don't want this one.
What do you want? What do you want?
This one's yours.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You got it?
Yeah.
Cool.
At Red Bull.
Yeah.
Sponsor him.
Sponsor me. Red Bull is watching. All right. And then Mug Zero root beer. Okay. How are you? How do we have? We have 250. Thank you guys so much for staying on. I appreciate you guys. How you guys doing? How's your Sunday going? Okay. I can't express to you how much you should care about this because it is so indicative of all of the problems of like where we are, right? Like, keep in mind, here's what I'm optimistic about. Like, the fact that everybody's so annoyed at it is a good, like, when people don't know about shit and it's happening and are downplaying it, that's when things are really bad. Because it means that, oh, this shit's gonna get fucking horrible and no one's seeing it and it's gonna hit. When shit is so, when people are so mad at things and it's like become the mainstream that they're mad at it, means usually people will be aggressive about trying to stop this shit or there's something else brewing. So I'm optimistic about the future, but I can't act like this isn't fucking horrible. The destruction of Sony's go-to remake studio is one of the PlayStation's most embarrassing failures. Here's what, if you haven't heard, Bluepoint Games is this remake studio that remade Sony PlayStation games. Even if you're not into video games, please stick around and listen because this is important. Bluepoint Games remade this incredible game called Demon Souls. You've heard of Elden Ring. Demon Souls was their first game. They remade that game as the PlayStation 5 launch title. It was beautiful. It was the go-to launch title. It was amazing. Got great reviews. They remade Shadow of the Colossus, one of the greatest games ever made. It looked beautiful. It's amazing what they did, right? It was awesome. They've remade so many amazing things over the last few years. They were told they were going to do a God of War live service game. That was the rumor. A God of War live service project. That didn't happen. Got canceled when all the live service stuff was just getting gutted. And today, they're closing down. By Sony. Sony acquired them, put them on that live service project, fucked up that live service project, and then gutted them. And it's so bad, dude, because, like, you know, like, when we talk about, like, people have been asking me about 2XKO and, like, fighting game live service and shit like that, which is a huge thing that, you know, 2XKO recently laid off half of their staff, which a lot of people I know who are amazing people, and there was this whole argument about, oh, why did it take them so long to fucking make the game then? Well, because the game wasn't in development technically for 10 years. It was in development for, like, less than that, and you don't know that. There are stories about why it took so long and what changed and why, what teams were there and what happened, which I can't talk about because it's not my story to tell. But, like, the problem with that has so much to do with the bureaucracy of how things are handled and how games are made. Because, listen, there is a magic world. There's an alternate universe where the God of War live service game did come out and was actually really, really cool, and we were living in that utopia. But the reason live service is such a fucking dicey model is because everybody is doing it. Most of the time, it's not implemented well. But even when it is implemented well, because there's such a large portion of it and a large upkeep and not a lot of thoughtfulness to how to keep that upkeep there, they fail so much. And great, amazing studios who are trying to figure it out fuck up because the people forcing them to make live service haven't thought it through. I mean, like, there's examples of this all over, like, corporate media, but, like, it's a huge issue that's gone on that is decimated the video games industry. And don't get it twisted. There are some live service stuff that is incredible. It's incredible. I would say Arc Raiders is kind of like live service, right? Like, Arc Raiders is incredible. Fucking Fortnite, even though Fortnite gets a lot of shit, that is an incredible achievement. And acting like it's not is ridiculous. Like, Fortnite is like it's the mainstream McDonald's of something, right? But there is still a lot of love for the project, and people I know who have worked on Fortnite love the project and want to help. And like our game are centered around people who play games versus just trying to extract money from them. That's partnerships, which is a whole other team. They're the fucking people you want to talk about when you hate capital, but the people who love games, that's it. Helldivers 2, also live service, right? MMOs. You saw it in the MMO boom. So many MMOs started, died. Because people didn't understand what the big, they're just making it to make it. Okay? It's a tale as old as time. But the problem is live service is such a giant fucking undertaking that, you know, fucking up the game is one thing. You fuck the whole studio with the amount of money you put in. And you have so many issues with it, you know? It's a whole other problem. And so here we are. Sony is shutting down Bluepoint Games, the developer behind 2018 Shadow Colossus remake and the PlayStation 5 launch game Demon's Souls. Its latest blow to the roster of PlayStation studios. Bluepoint will be the third Sony-owned studio to be axed in the past 2 years, following the closures of mobile-focused developers Neon, Koi, and Concord creators Firewalk Studio. While any game studio closure is disheartening as years of work go unfinished and unplayed, hundreds of people lose jobs, Bluepoint Games' shuttering feels markedly different from Sony's other cuts. Bluepoint had a track record of success, acting as a go-to developer of remakes and remasters, having been entrusted with Metal Gear Solid and God of War collections. Those are enormous cash cows for Sony. If you're wondering why this is important if you don't follow games, it's because this is the world and all of the shit. AI centers is the same idea behind it. Like, why? You know what? Everybody's doing this. We got to do this. Let's devote the insane overhead we have because it'll benefit in the future. Without understanding the actual benefit, they leapt before they understood it. Ian Malcolm in Jurassic Park. Before you even knew what you had, you're selling it. You're selling it. You're a kid who found his dad's gun. Where was I? Bluepoint. Okay. The Austin, Texas-based developer was off-cited as a studio of choice when PlayStation fans fantasize about potential remakes of a beloved game franchise. The fantasy hasn't aligned with the reality of Bluepoint's work since being acquired by Sony in 2021. However, the studio expressed desire to transition away from restoring others' work to being a team that worked on original games. According to Bluepoint co-founder and president Marco Thrush, our team is a very highly experienced team, Thrush told IGN in 2021, shortly after Bluepoint was acquired. The average experience amongst most people is 15 years, and all of them come from original development. It's not like we're a bunch of developers that got trained up on making remasters and remakes. We have an original game development mindset in our hearts, and that's what we're now finally ready with the support of Sony to push forward and show what we can do and show what PlayStation can do. It's so fucking heartbreaking. Bluepoint's unannounced original project was reportedly a live service game based on God of War. On the God of War franchise. Part of Sony's once enthusiastic and since reconsidered plan to flood the market with more live service multiplayer games. Bluepoint's God of War game was reportedly scrapped in early 2025, and subsequent pitches weren't greenlit by Sony, leading to the developer's closure. That's fucking awful. That's fucking awful. Dude. PlayStation, and also, like, keep in mind, like, 2025, like, was such a shit show in terms of, like, what was being greenlit and what was not being greenlit. Like even, like, in stuff that I've been working on, projects I've been working on, and, like, sponsorships, like, so many people were like, we have to pare back because all these tariffs and everything are fucking up the economy. We don't know where the economy is going to be. It was just a giant time of uncertainty. So a lot of Q4, Q1, 2, 3, 4 budgets were like so all over the place. So like it makes sense. They're just like, we don't know if we have space for it. People are becoming risk averse again. PlayStation's fans seem rightfully angry at the closure of Bluepoint, which still had promise for them as a team that could faithfully, lovingly make old games shine anew. With no shortage of potential remake and remaster candidates in PlayStation's catalog, Bloodborne being one of them, the promise of Bluepoint as an internal PlayStation studio now feels unnecessarily squandered. While the closure of Neon Koi and Firewalk, two other really big studios, may have stung, the decision to shutter those studios seemed sound at the time, as PlayStation's half-hearted attempts to capture the mobile market and abject failure of Concord spelled doom for those developers. You know, Concord was, you know, I know David Dole liked Concord, but like, you know, it was a huge fumble. Sony went on a spending spree over the past 7 years, adding 11 studios, a mixture of dedicated developers and support studios to its roster. 3 of them have since shuttered, and a handful haven't shipped games in many years. We're still waiting on Haven Studios' shooter Fair Games, announced in 2023, and a new current generation projects from established studios like Ben Studio, Media Molecule, and Naughty Dog. I know those games are being worked on, but shit's all over the place. It's been an ugly and often unproductive half-decade for PlayStation. Veteran teams like London Studios and Japan Studios have been shut down. Hundreds of layoffs have impacted Insomniac Games, Naughty Dog, Guerrilla Games, and SIE's technology, creative, and support divisions in the recent years. Sony's acquisition of Destiny developer Bungie increasingly feels like a mismanaged multi-billion-dollar investment. That's also fucking up, especially when the studio was charged with serving as PlayStation's guiding light when it came to live service games. Oh, man. Oh, man, dude. Wasn't Blue Point making Silent Hill? No. I don't think so. Yeah. That's your Jurassic Park reference. Thank you. Phantasy Star Online has some of the best, most social chat features, and it's a Dreamcast launch title. I love Phantasy Star Online. I love Phantasy Star Online. That shows how old I am. I will play that tomorrow forever. You know, man, you know what this feels like? Remember the MCU, and everybody says how the MCU is dead? I don't think the MCU is dead. But you know what? Me and my friend were talking. I'm like, man, like, I feel everybody just wanted this thing to fail because it kept getting bigger and bigger. What killed it? And then we pinpointed the time, and we looked down the line of things that we loved. And we noticed Wanda, like Infinity Game was great. No Way Home was great. The second Spider-Man and No Way Home were great. WandaVision was great. Captain and Winter Soldier we loved. And Ant-Man and the Wasp was bad. Doctor Strange Multiverse Madness was bad. And then we realized the second so much TV shit started coming out on Disney Plus, everything tanked. And that's what you constantly hear. But like, it was truly like, oh shit, this is bad. And that's also like the history of comics. If you look at comics, like when, you know, like if you look at when, like how comics are, like there's like 75 different books you have to read to look at big events. And that was how comics felt. It got too crazy. And that's how it felt when the TV shows came out. I think the undertaking of trying to do too much to grow, because there's this big mindset of growth in AI and all these tech companies, is the wrong mindset versus do it right, you know? Like, put out as much as you can, put out slop versus put out something quality, fucks you, you know? Maybe it's a good thing that people are realizing it, because, like, maybe that means AI slop is just going to bankrupt itself. Because it's so low effort. Have you seen that shit, dude? Have you seen this fucking dog shit? I hate showing AI content, but I need to show this just so you know, like how bad this is. Look at this fucking dog ass. Look at this dog. No studio, no production, no boundaries. Doctor Strange versus Superman, powered by Seedance 2. All right, okay. Surprise me. Show me this thing. That is the most dog shit thing I have ever fucking seen. Look at this. Look at how bad this is. Superman eye beams and then catches his eye beam. Also, his arm just disappeared for a second. Also, what is Hulk doing in the background? He's just looking. He's like a fighting game character, just looking around. What is going on? And then he punches him. Terrible slow-mo. It's so bad. It's so bad, dog. No production, no studio, no boundaries. No ability. no interest. Look at this. What is this? I haven't seen. Okay, this is terrible because this is literally just a copy pasted scene. Like, it's a copy pasted scene from fucking Reloaded. This is terrible. It's a copy pasted scene. And okay. This is dog ass. Dog ass. Dog ass. You want any further proof? You want any further proof? Like, I'm telling you, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Is like slop like that, like the corporations want things that are repeatable and like easy to execute and easy to churn out. And like TV shows in the golden age of TV, you have that. But at a certain point, you kind of fuck up because you don't have it. Well, you don't have an actual process. You know what's interesting? You know the Pit? The Pit is an actual like well thought out process for making TV. Because like if you notice, they were shooting their second season. They were shooting their first season while the first season was going on. They finished it. They were almost immediately like onto their second season. They had a pretty great schedule around, and the show is fucking incredible. Like, it's so fucking good, right? And because they had an adherence to quality, it doesn't suffer, right? Like, there's so many shows that suffer because of like this adherence to like, we gotta get this out. And I think like that's when you talk about AI making things more efficient, something they don't make efficient is the creative process and the creative process of production. Production is not just like a list of tasks. It's tasks that are creatively achieved. AI cannot do that in a reasonable fashion, even rap-wise. It can't do that, right? The certain things that you need, like the way the technology works, it's like using a hammer to tend to to do heart surgery. It's not gonna fucking work, man. Like it's just not suited for it. So I don't know. Like I think when you talk about like why studios like Bluepoint and other studios that are gaming that are closing so much with the amount of people that are turning to AI and the amount of people who are just cutting their losses of things, I think the reason for this is because these companies are taking giant swings on things where they need to take smaller swings on quality stuff, right? And you saw Marvel do it. You saw them do it with like Fantastic Four, beautiful. You've seen DC do it, like Peacemaker. Like DC did like only a couple films, beautiful, right? Like focus on telling the best thing, and then when you have that process down, then expand. When you grow too quickly, you fuck up. And some of these people are taking this approach like, no, growth everything. We'll just fucking you're not strong enough if you can't grow that fast, right? All of these people don't get it. Like speed is not always an advantage. If all you have is speed and there's no power behind the swing, it's fucking nothing. You're a glass cannon. And that's what you see happening all the time. Like the biggest games that have come out have had an adherence to quality and time. Claire Expedition 33, quality and time. That's what it is. What's going on? Just got off the phone with my buddy. I'm talking about the Bluepoint closing in the studio. And even more so than that, and this is the last thing I'll say before I log off and grab food with Maddie. Microsoft shut down Xbox and replaced it with like
Shocking discovery.
Phil Spencer's retiring, who's the head of Xbox. Sarah Bond, president of Xbox, out. Matt Booty promoted as Matt Booty. I'm a fucking child. Promoted as Microsoft AI exec. Asha Sharma named new Xbox boss. Okay. Xbox is fucked. And it's like, they're pushing AI, they're pushing all of this stuff. Again, I know that there are people who are like, oh, we want to have a tech future where we can go from 0 to 100 in an instant. But like, dude, like, have we learned nothing over the last 5 years with all of these things where people go all in? You know how many people made a Siri and then that fucked up? You know how many people, even the GPTs are like, I don't know, man. I think there's going to be crashes. I think there's going to be changes. But like, if you're looking at what's happening in the games industry, the disheartening part is how AI is fucking things up and how a lot of companies are cutting their losses on live service and all this kind of shit, and people are just getting laid off of these projects these corporations had. But if you look at the good side of gaming, and I'll show you it right now, right? The things that are rising to the top, look at this. Look at the shit that's risen to the top. Look at that. That's quality. I know Nintendo charges $1 million for things, but that's quality. That's quality. That's quality. Quality off-kilter independent studio that was built that Kojima built out of his thing. Quality. You know, bad quality then got better. Capcom's still trying to do good shit. Like, there's still stuff that is rising to the top that is made with heart. And I think that, like, you know, I hope everybody at Blue Point forms a new studio and they do cool shit. It's like, it reminds me of, like, you know, when Easy Allies left and Giant Bomb left and all these other people left, and then a lot of independent game journalism became the way people conceive things. I haven't been to IGN in years, dude. You know, I think there's a when people start, there's a time where you got to go, like, bet on yourself, and when the industry isn't taking care of you, and it's hard, but it's got to start happening soon. All right. Well, I just want replicators. I want one too. Blueprints is a smart, gorgeous game. There's a great song called Crowd Caffeine by Sophia Isalia with the line, "We want the humans to grind. We want the engines to sing. We want the machines to be human and the humans to be machines." Fucking beautiful line. Holy shit. It's called Crowd Caffeine? Oh my god. I'm writing that down. Do that right now. Crowd Caffeine. Okay, well, hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. I've been on for about 2 hours and a half. I want to try to do much longer streams, and I appreciate you guys for you know, doing the super chats. That was super fucking helpful. That's great. Let me turn off ads and get to chat with you guys and do more of these. I am very appreciative of y'all. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. If you're new here, if you have always been here, please go watch the video I did on Hassan and stuff like that a week ago. Please watch some of our other videos. Give us some love. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for doing what you guys do, which is, you know, staying up and fighting the best you fucking can. You know, it's a very hard. It's not lost on me how hard this world is, you know, but like, it feels like, it still feels like 05, which makes me hopeful, because if it didn't, I'd be scared. I'm less scared. The amount of people, you know what's funny? There was a report of like this mosque in Los Gatos with these like white people going like, "Oh my god, why is this mosque here?" You know, and just being like, "It's bad for the neighborhood. Have safety concerns, all this shit." And there's just like a mosque that's celebrating Ramadan and having people over to eat. And again, I saw like nearly identical things on the news when I was growing up, and more like, these Muslims, what the fuck? But that ABC7 report, even though people are mad at it, was more like, this is a weird. Why are they so mad? Like the people in that look worse. Like who are complaining about the mosque, and like the amount of people who came to the defense of that mosque is genuinely stunning to me, because I never used to see that. Like I can't tell you how, like, when people say we've made no progress, like the culture has made progress. It has. The laws are broken and rebuilt and everything like that, but the culture and the people have made progress. I have very little faith in systems of power. I have full faith in people, because they do more than people who have everything can possibly. You know what it's like. So like, for me, I'm very appreciative that the people are more like understanding and more accepting of me and my religion and everything like that. And I'm very understanding that like this shit feels harrowing, and it is harrowing, but like I know what these pressure campaigns are like. I know who's inadequate, and I know that people are too restless to not do anything. So for me, watching Zoran and Alicia Meha, and I think that's her name. I'm so sorry if I got it wrong. What's her name? Who beat Malinowski? Alicia Meha. I'm so sorry. I don't remember her. Malinowski. Yeah, Analilia Meha, right? Analilia Meha beat Malinowski. Watch more people come into the fray and talk about progressive policies. Gavin Newsom kind of get his star taken. Like, there's stuff that's happening, And if we're gonna be, if we want to be able to fight against Trumpism, and I'm not talking about just electorally win. I mean, expunge Trumpism from the culture. It is a shared experience we all have, and we are having that shared experience. It's fucking crazy. There are people who are not involved in politics who are asking me questions like, isn't this fucking crazy? I'm like, yeah, where were you? But I'm glad you're here now. So I appreciate you guys. Keep your heads up. Thank you for watching the show. And I appreciate y'all. And we'll talk soon. I'll be back again this week. All right? Spread the word, tell your friends, and we'll have a good time. Alrighty. Talk to y'all soon.